gotta rotate it. So,
But we're not being sponsored.
but we gotta make people think we're sponsored, so we do get sponsored.
It's like we're in a wedding ring to pick up girls.
Swallow ball.
Welcome, friends of all designs, to episode 180 of 8.5-Bit, which I'm sure is going to be the most mouse-filled episode of them all. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me today are my good friends Jeremy.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
And boys, oh god, I actually had a question this week, and now it's slipping through my fingers.
Just give it. Do you have any words?
Slipping through your mind fingers.
Oh, I was so clever.
It was.
No, it probably wasn't.
No.
It was probably really
Probably some
pointless.
weird non sequitur.
Ever since we came back, I've only had a question like once.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, it's been utter bullshit.
I missed the question.
Oh no, that's what I'm going to ask.
Alright.
Okay. Which superhero movie should I care less about? Aquaman or Wonder Woman?
Should you care less about?
I think you should care less about Aquaman.
Alright, well, okay, we talked.
He can talk to fish.
Yeah, but...
I've seen the Wonder Woman trailer, and I didn't hate it.
Oh no, I don't hate any DC trailers. Yeah. They make fine trailers. Unfortunately, they turn into movies, which are utter dread.
Well, how do you rate Batman vs Superman as a trailer to the Justice League movie?
Other than, the last trailer where they showed Doomsday, that was a shit trailer. The rest of the trailers are...
No, I mean the whole movie functioning as a trailer.
Oh, for the... not particularly good.
Yeah, there you go.
I still enjoyed...
I actually didn't hate Batman vs Superman.
It's so stupid.
I went in with such low expectations.
I enjoyed my time. Unfortunately, it's like a dream state. It's a David Lynch film. It's like, if you just go with it, you're fine. The moment you apply, hey, just wait, let's try to work out, what was a logical progression.
Don't do that.
It doesn't make a lick of sense.
No.
At least with Lynch, it's on purpose. And actually, that's not true either. Lynch is actually pretty direct most of the time.
That the Batman just killed people in that movie.
Why would you like that?
Because it's just like...
I haven't actually seen the movie, but that was like
it's just where Batman's gotten to. This is a late game Batman.
Here's an idea. Maybe it progresses to that point. Maybe, like there could be some sort of, arc shake thing with a character,
arcs?
going somewhere?
Well, they've only got, 4 hours to tell that story in that movie. They don't have time. They don't have time for arcs.
What if, and I'm just speaking metaphorically, a character started a place and ended a separate place where the character was different? Some sort of character trip.
I suppose he does a little bit. Unfortunately, it doesn't make any sense.
He comes back a little bit.
It makes a little bit of sense. If you pull it apart, and a few people do this, they pull apart the plot and say, look, this all makes sense. And they see, it was all there along. People just weren't paying attention. It's like, no. It's badly made movie. Yes, a lot of the things are there, but if they worked, it would be a well-made movie. If everyone has the wrong impression, it's a badly made movie.
I went in expecting it to make zero sense. But it actually, the actual, story of what, I understood the motivations for the characters.
No, you didn't. I'm going to ask you so many questions after this show.
Oh, all right.
I'm going to ask you scene by scene.
Oh, well, I don't have to remember it that much.
Well, can you tell me, why did Batman get angry when Lex Luthor blew up the place with Superman in it?
I don't know. I knew the broad strokes.
He knew it wasn't Superman. But he got angry at Superman. I bet you're pissed at some kids in detention right now. Oh, too close. Anyway, move on. You guys don't watch the fucking news, do you?
Wait.
God damn it.
What? I thought that was a Breakfast Club reference.
No, it's a reference to torture.
Oh.
Torture.
Let's move on to video games.
Video games.
I've been playing a lot of video games this week. Heaps. And we are putting a little caveat at the beginning of the show. James and I are going to talk about a game called Moirai? Moirai? Moirai.
There's links in the show notes.
Yeah. Well, what we're saying is it takes about 5 minutes to download, 5 minutes to play. So play it while the show's going. We'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah. Just background us. You have to look at us anyway.
Alt tab.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be the podcast listening?
Yeah.
All these things are fine. Yeah, you can play it before the end of the show.
Yes.
So go do that. Okay.
Probably could have played it during that whole Superman versus Batman thing.
Probably
In
preferable.
hindsight, yeah, we probably should have led with, we're going to ramble for about 5 minutes.
We always do that. Oh, I want to go back to Comic-Con later.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't care about so many things.
Yeah.
It's great. And everyone gets so excited. Like, why? I always thought I was somewhat aware of comics.
Okay, I actually have only seen the Wonder Woman trailer.
It's fine.
That's it. I thought it looked
Okay,
alright.
oh God, we were already back to comics. But what is Wonder Woman's powers? I actually do not know.
She's got a whip that makes people tell the truth.
She can reflect energy blast with her gauntlets, apparently.
Like,
Yeah.
she's,
bullets.
they're making Captain America. That's what they're doing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But she can also fly.
I don't
in
think
some
she
stories.
can in this one. Maybe. I don't know. She gets around.
Most of my knowledge from Wonder Woman is Justice League.
Doesn't she have an
Unlimited.
invisible plane?
In the old one, she
Yeah,
did.
yeah, she did. And then, Justice League Unlimited, they did away with that. And then, when the main core group would just fly away, Wonder Woman always carried Batman. And he always had this, sort of, annoyed baby look in his face.
That's all I want to see. I am sold on Justice League if we can get Batman being carried by Wonder Woman. That'd be great. Or maybe he should really enjoy it. Just be like, yeah!
like riding on the back? Like,
No,
come on, Wonder Woman!
No, that's too
Too far? Too far?
Yeah, he should be cradled like a baby, but he's just really happy. Yeah, let's go!
Oh, in one episode of Justice League Unlimited, I'm pretty sure it was the Atom, shrunk down and hid in Wonder Woman's cleavage.
It's just
Why he ever came out, no one
it's a
knows.
safe place to go. Anyway, video games?
Video games.
Video games.
We'll get to video games.
Hey.
You played a lot.
I played a lot, which was weird. I thought I wasn't going to play anything. But, let's keep up with what I was just showing you before the game. Just real quick impressions, because it literally just came out probably a couple of hours before we were recording this show. And I was a sucker and said, let's go buy it. Because an early access version of Ghost of a Tale came out. This is what was originally, we were expecting a quite Dark Souls-ish game, where you play a little mouse in a world of giant rats and skeletons and stuff like that. So they released it in early access. They suggested the game is about 25-30% complete in the campaign. Mechanically, it's about 95% there. And it's basically, when they crowdfunded it, it was Indiegogo, it was about 40k they asked for, which is ridiculously low for a game of this quality, because it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And they got a bit of money from Microsoft, because they're doing Xbox as well. But it turns out 40k is not very much money. And Microsoft isn't exactly...
Well, I mean, it would be to us.
Not if I had to work on something for a few years and that was my job.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, it would be to me.
Well, yes, you are a poor...
Slave.
So
this
Bispectacled man.
The number one cost of any video game is time. It's a very time-consuming thing. So if you actually do the maths on 40k, probably the team's 5 or 6 people.
Well,
I'm gonna guess.
the team was originally one person.
Okay.
He has added a few extra artists, I believe.
So say 3 people.
Yeah.
And so you got 40 divided by 3, you're looking,
yeah, that's only
13 grand.
3 months' wages.
And then well, how long does that get you? And that game, how long's it been in development?
He's been working on it for a couple of years, I
Yeah.
think.
So if you actually the general rule of thumb of the cost of a video game, you're looking about 10k per man month. If you're gonna take into equipment, office space.
He's probably
salaries,
working out of his home and things like that.
That's if you want to pay someone all right.
Yeah.
So that costs that up 40k, not much.
Yeah, not much money. So they released it, and basically they're just straight out saying they want the money to be able to keep working on the game.
How much did you pay for the early access version?
$15, I think.
That seems good.
Yeah, that seems
It's going to be. They're saying it's going to be $25 at launch.
Okay, and
So-
do you now have access to launch, or do you just have this
Yes,
version?
yes.
How
If you
long-
support now, you get.
So they say it's 25% of the game. How much of the game is that?
I don't know yet.
Don't know yet.
I've literally played it for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
So
it's
more-
longer
at
than
least
40
40
minutes.
Which is good.
It's okay value for $15.
At least I've heard from people that it's at least a good bunch of hours long.
Okay,
So,
alright.
That's good.
so what it means in the long run, I don't know. But it was just nice to play. So what was surprising, as I said, it was supposed to be Dark Souls-ish. It's not that Dark Souls-ish. It's very, at the beginning of the game at least, is very sneaky. I don't even have a weapon yet. And you start off in a prison cell. And it's very, very story-driven. There's characters to talk to. There's a surly pirate frog I spoke to. He was in another cell. He just wanted me to get him some alcohol. which is great. The rats are scary, menacing creatures that stalk around the corridors, and you hide in cupboards and boxes.
The rats are the antagonists?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of... Oh, actually, this is a small touch that I thought was great. You know how I hate lore in video games? Yeah. So there's lore in this game. But someone will be talking, and if they say, like, a term, like, you know, oh, he sailed with whatever, or at this event, that word will be in yellow. And if you touch Y on the gamepad, I'm sure there's an equivalent on the PC, it just brings up a little, like, index on what that thing is.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh,
It's like, so the lore doesn't have to be in the way, and when it is there, it's relevant.
Paul, don't you want to pause the game, go into the codec and read 200 words to explain what that thing is?
So I think that's really interesting. Well, I'll have more further impressions next week. There's not a whole lot more to talk about now, other than it's as pretty as we thought it was going to be.
Yes,
so beautiful.
very
Just for a few
gorgeous.
minutes.
And you can put on different hats. I put on some hats and showed these guys.
I'd ask you how the combat is, but...
There's no combat yet.
Yeah.
I get killed a few times.
There is combat in the game, you just haven't gotten there.
Yeah. And so the combat, which was one of the early things we saw, is quite Dark Souls inspired. Which you can imagine everything. You're a little mouse,
Yeah,
and everything is bigger than you.
I saw a lot of loot. Or
Yeah.
gear. Maybe not
There's
loot,
a lot of
just a
gear,
lot of
yeah.
gear, yeah.
From the beginning of the game, it seems that I've got a wide selection of like costume sets, but I've got like for each of them, I've only got maximum 2 pieces, and the same 2 pieces for each. So it means I can't have like a full set. Like I can't have a full set of clothes yet.
Yeah.
So as the game moves on, so you're given quite a lot at the beginning, and then I imagine after that it starts spreading out, and you eventually build up your whole set, so you can be a little knight or a little pirate or a little rogue.
Cute.
Oh, I'm a little mouse. Look at me, squeakity squeak.
Does he have like a little squirrel girlfriend he needs to go save?
No, you haven't met your. I think it's your wife,
Oh yeah.
your mouse wife.
So he shouldn't be so derivative. He's a grown ass man mouse.
Yeah. It's people compare it a lot to like what is it, Redwall or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
trying to remember
yeah.
earlier.
Its early is very evocative of that, and yeah, and actually I just like the fact that the guards will literally have things hanging on their belts.
Well, I saw like a
A handkerchief, but they'll have keys and stuff as well. So you sneak up behind them and steal the keys off them. So
It seems like a nice touch. It's been like
Yeah.
a fantasy of mine in a lot of games.
even just a small thing. One of the early puzzles was there was a gate and a key next to it, but the key was on a hook. It's like, and there was a guard that was patrolling back and forth. Like, there's a stool. So wait for the guard to get past. Go grab the stool. Go stick it in like clamber up onto the little stool. Give me. And as I come back, the guard came back around the corner. I'm like, oh no, my stool shenanigans! And I just like ran at the gate and unlocked it. And I was just barreling through the gate, and this rat chasing me. It was great.
And to get away, you could hide in cupboards and things like that.
Yeah. And the stealth's very forgiving.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's more fun if you play it in the spirit of it. But if you want, you can just cheese past guards and then like look for the first cupboard. As long as they're not looking directly at you whilst you get in the cupboard.
Break line of sight, get in the cupboard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that breaking line of sight just means run everyone around the corner.
Yeah.
Wait
Run
for
back.
them all, and then run back in the cupboard. Like, where could he have gone? In this empty room with nothing but a cupboard. Best we walk back to our pre-designated pathways.
I imagine the rats where they're going like, there are so many twists and turns and corridors. They're like in some sort of a maze. A rat doesn't belong in a maze. How are the controls though?
Generally fine. I actually think they tried to keep it quite minimalist with not that many prompts on screen.
Okay.
I think they might need to up the prompts early in the game.
Alright.
There's things like you got a different button for throwing an item and dropping an item, and there's actually nothing to tell you which one's which until you push them, and then you sort of remember. Little thing in the corner that says B drop A.
Yeah.
It's like
It's something.
it's minor, but it would improve the playability of that. But it is early access, and I'm sure that sort of feedback
And-
is stuff they can get.
Not episode 1.
No,
Yeah, so they...
it's just the game so far.
Yeah.
Which, as I say, it's not going to be a full game, so that might keep you away. But if you want to support the development of it, and you didn't get on the Indiegogo,
Yeah.
there are more than one site.
Yeah.
It's a time that you might be able to help support the rest of the game being made.
Yeah, I think that's a game I could enjoy just from like an aesthetics
Yeah,
point of view. Like I could just enjoy time just spent in that world.
and that's sort of what I've been screwing around a lot.
Yeah.
See, pushing the limits of my ready guards. Pushed a barrel on one's head.
Had to see that.
He fell down. Went to sleep.
A little barrel.
To sleep.
The cute thing is these are little tiny barrels.
I guess in context,
yeah, like the little tiny adorable barrel.
I reckon the barrel would be about as big as a beer bottle in there.
Okay, so that'll hurt.
Well, I mean, especially if you're a small rat.
Yes. Like, are all these traps you'll bring the rats into labelled as, like, humane?
I tried to slam a door on top of a rat's head. Either I didn't time it right or you can't do it. I was like, damn it, this is going to be great. So right next to him.
It looks very cute.
It's very nice. Okay, let's talk about some stuff that's a little bit more substantial.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, James, would you like to talk about anything?
Yeah, so this week there has been a 2K Humble Bundle.
Oh, fuck. We start with this. Okay, well, we can get this out of the way.
We'll be kind of quick about it. So,
which was the most hilarious bundle I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, well since this month's monthly bundle, which has fucking Call of Duty multiplayer demo in it.
So, the bundle, like the tier 1 is really good of this bundle.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like Spec Ops The Line.
Yeah.
What else was on there?
I don't remember.
Basically, Spec Ops The Line.
It was all games I had, but they're all very good.
Darkness 2.
Oh, yeah, Darkness 2.
Darkness 2. Mike Patton does the voice of the Darkness.
So it was,
I can't remember the other one. And then NBA 2K16, which is really well reviewed.
Okay, well, yeah.
I gave it a review.
I gave it a review out of
actually, I shouldn't say it was well reviewed, but it was popular and definitely.
I did a pretty good review of it. It's very entertaining. Talking about Spike Lee and how I was just this weird, fat, incredibly tall white man who was obviously supposed to be black in the story, but they had to let me be myself. Yeah,
Dude Forever. Dude Forever in it. Anyway,
which is worth $1.
It is actually worth $1. So the tier 1's very good, but your Civ 5 if you go up to the second tier.
Mafia 2.
Mafia 2.
Not so good.
I'm a big Mafia fan, so I didn't like Mafia 2. And I'm looking forward to not liking Mafia 3.
The hilarious thing is that Battleborn. And
it's a $15 tier.
It's a $15 tier.
Battleborn along with Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Yeah. Borderlands,
so James, you bought Borderlands and you thought, I'm going to play some Borderlands. What happened next?
Oh, no, you mean Battleborn.
Oh fuck, Battleborn.
Because I did both these things.
I already forgot.
Yeah, so so did the community. So I expected, given that this bundle I think has sold quite a few, that there'd be a lot of people playing Battleborn. I jumped into Battleborn, and first thing I said was, I'm going to do the single player, and the game said, no. You're going to play the tutorial.
176,000 people, apparently.
So I played...
But that's not necessarily the highest tier. That could be a lot of people after Duke.
So I start the tutorial after sitting through a Gearbox introduction.
So isn't that fucking opening video like 6 minutes long?
Yeah, it's long. So I played about 10 minutes of the tutorial. I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it later. So I quit. And then later I went back and that was a mistake. You cannot skip that tutorial. You go online and you go skip tutorial Battleborn and people are saying, oh, you skipped the tutorial. No, you can't. And it's not even that nicely animated. It's just kind of janky and shit. And it does have, though, the ability to play in the background. So what I do is I Alt-Tab out, go do something else for 10 minutes, and then come back and continue. So I played through...
Which is a real selling point for a game, that it can be Alt-Tabbed.
So I played through the intro, the tutorial, and it's okay. The weird pacing problems of, it's trying to give you story and trying to give you characters, but it's sort of awkwardly sitting over the top of these kind of wave mechanics that are coming in. It's just kind of weird. It doesn't really work. But anyway, I get through it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and play some story mode. And the game said no. I tried to play it, and after waiting maybe 5 minutes for someone to join in this queue, I had one person join. And we started the game, and that game is not designed to be played with two people.
We found that out.
Yeah. So I just quit.
Yeah.
Good choice.
I eventually came back later and tried again. The exact same problem. I couldn't get any more than one other person. And so that failed again. And then I tried the multiplayer again, which I didn't mind in the beta. I thought was okay. It's exactly the same as is in the beta. I'm over it. Yeah. I didn't even finish the game. I didn't even finish one match. I'm like, I could be playing Overwatch.
You could be.
This is what I could be doing instead.
I got to ask you about this with Battleborn.
Yeah.
Is it the first thing that's ever made you want to take money back from a charity?
No, I do. I think
what, you can't say you got your money's worth out of it.
Well, because I played Borderlands pre-sequel as well.
Okay, so maybe you did.
Yeah, and actually I think it's a good sign for that game that I jumped in to check it out, and I played it for like half an hour. Like they
Pre-sequel,
yeah. It's odd, the Australian accents, because
that took me out of it so much.
because
I had feelings about the pre-sequel. So I'll hear what you have to say.
So, because the thing that confuses me with the accents is because they're putting on the Australian accent a little bit, but you can tell underneath it they're just Australian.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just hamming up the Australian accent.
Well, we can do it right now, mate. I just think it's a bit, bonkers. Everyone's acting like a galah.
Yeah, okay, that's what it's like. So, but you can still hear all the very genuine tangs of an Australian accent.
Yeah, the
underneath
diphthong's genuine.
Yeah, so that was a bit off-putting. But the vertical mechanics of the jump,
zero G and stuff.
Yeah, like I like that. Like, 'cause I'm a big fan of kind of vertical movement, and it made it feel fresh. Like it did, because like now to get through the world, I'm hovering in air and shooting down, slamming down. You can go up and you can kind of boost forward and then slam down. So I don't know. Like it's just Borderlands.
Yeah, mechanically it was fun,
Yeah,
but I
it's
found the story, the writing a bit tedious. And maybe that was the difference between Battleborn, because it still had that solid mechanics. That was still fun. It was still fun dealing with psychos. I don't know if that was still...
Well, I think that I hung around when I was playing Borderlands because those mechanics are fun. Like the moment-to-moment of Borderlands I still enjoyed. The moment-to-moment of Battleborn was just very tedious.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think, because why do they just want to go play Overwatch? Why do they want to... And these, because Overwatch and Borderlands... Overwatch and Battleborn are very different things. They get compared all the time, but they're different.
No, they're exactly the same.
But they're exactly the same. But
Thank you, man, who plays Battleborn.
I've played Overwatch.
Yeah. And
Battleborn.
I think because I struggle when you take that kind of MOBA formula of, it's about you go in kind of weak and you level up and get more powerful, and you're fighting these mobs that you need to get more powerful to beat because they're stronger ones that come in, and so they basically become bigger damage sponges, and I just don't feel like there's a good sense of impact to anything I do. Like I feel like it's very arbitrary, and I mean, Paul, you had like a similar problem with something like The Division, where you put in this kind of like this thing was like, oh, it's a bullet, but it's not a level 10 bullet, it's only a level 1 bullet, so that's good cat, by the way.
It's
Level.
supposed to be a carrot.
Oh,
That's a terrible carrot.
Terrible.
Yeah. It's angry.
Good. Yeah.
It's an angry carrot.
So, I mean, in Overwatch, it says flat, so it's like I have a bullet that's a certain amount of damage, or TF2 is the same. So I think that's why I ended up just going, this just feels weak and underpowered, I'm just going to go play Overwatch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I did get a PvP game going, okay. That one, people joined, but the story mode, I don't think anyone wants to do it. Maybe they should have made one game instead of 2 games, and make it free to play, because it's going to be free to play in like 6
It'll be
months
free to
anyway,
play,
which is a hilarious part that they've gone and thrown in this full price game into this bundle with a discount down to $15, so chump like me buys it, and it's going to be free.
Battleborn will be free to play by the end of the year.
Yeah.
I would lay $12 on it.
Yeah, and that's probably the best thing that can happen to it, because it'll get a community, and I can probably play story mode.
It felt to me though that even if you did free to play, like a thriving community, I still don't think would have fixed that game. Like for me,
People would have played it.
I think the game itself is salvageable, but like they need to do more than just address the fact that there's a tiny player base.
Yeah. Just sucks.
So you were enthralled by that conversation.
Yeah, it's around a cat.
If anything else, just give us. I don't know. It probably does have loot boxes where you can unlock shiny things, but.
Well, we're still talking about Battleborn?
Yeah.
Battleborn's basically got it in store, it just hasn't been switched to money.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
In fact, I don't know, it could have some money support already, I don't know.
I don't know, I didn't go looking for if you could play in-game characters.
Since we're free to play money storing, let's talk about our adventures with Evolve Phase 2.
Yes.
So James and I hooked up, and then we played some Evolve 2 after the homosexual activities.
You're a good kisser.
Actually, that's quite true. If there was one thing I'm going to stand by in my central arts, it is that I am actually quite a quality kisser.
Good kind of tongue control.
I guess. I mean, I
have a question. So, at what point during the kiss do you penetrate with the tongue?
See, the thing is, most of the time, tongue shouldn't penetrate.
You want
tongue should be involved to a degree, but once you're plunging the depths with the tongue, you've lost the battle. You can try. You're better off trying to forcefully extract the other person's tongue.
Well, like a
In
vacuum.
Like sucking
A
real.
battle royale. No. If you can somehow
Like a
coax,
Slurpee where the straw's gotten stuck at the bottom of the cup and it's that vacuum and you're sort of like...
if you can coax it out. I saw a video on Reddit this week, and I didn't see which subreddit it was. It was just like when you stick your fingers in a hole in the ground. It's a hole in the ground. Some guys just go. I'm like, fuck! Is it a snake? Is it fucking spiders? So a little bunny came out.
Oh,
That's how you make out.
I was thinking like the other person's tongue is Punxsutawney Phil and you're just trying to get like someone to come early.
Yeah, the tongue needs a certain amount of firmness. It needs subtlety. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you can just go nuts, but most of the time, control.
Yeah.
Control is key. We were talking about Evolve.
yeah. Pro tip. Kissing.
Oh yeah, kissing time. Yeah. next week, cunnilingus.
And now you'll be back to that one, right?
Anyway.
I think you do a blind taste test.
Oh, no. Move on. Please move on.
Evolve is a video game which failed to hold a community,
Yes.
which is now free to play, which we played last week and briefly spoke about. But now we play together. And 2 people still isn't 4 people,
Nope.
so the game still doesn't work. Which I now think is a big design flaw of the game.
But they've made steps to try and alleviate their problem.
How?
But it's still a problem. Well, it used to be only the trapper could put down the dome.
Oh yeah. Now
So
everyone can put down the
everyone
dome.
could And they buffed the early stage monster stuff to try and speed up the whole thing. They gave like a ping on the map to let everyone know. Like, see, basically it's easier to find the monster than it used to be.
Yes.
Yeah. So they've tried to fix the problem.
That said, if you're behind the monster and the monster's just running, you just seem to
Yeah.
be running after it most
So-
of the time.
Actually, I played not just with you. I played.
Yeah.
I played quite a bit. Unlocked a character, and like I really because it looks good. It runs very nicely on my laptop. The shooting feels fine. I
don't know what feels fine to you about the shoot. I just find that I'm just shooting endlessly at a monster that
Okay.
doesn't really react to anything I do.
The shooting of the creatures in the world feels fine.
Yeah, that feels all right.
Yeah.
The elites are still just bullet sponges,
Yeah.
but they're all right. They've at least got some interesting behaviour
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. The shooting of the monster, I kind of struggled with because I played the healer. Oh, I played the Lazarus Man.
Yeah.
And the Lazarus Man, my sniper ability is meant to put a weak spot on the monster. And so in theory, it should be very easy to have that cooperation form naturally, where I come in, put a bunch of bullets down, you come in, or anyone can see this thing and shoot it and does more damage. But I didn't really find that happening.
Yeah, it didn't. It still doesn't read. And one of the problems I had was like I got thrown into a role that it was not a preference. I had not played before. I think it was the tracker.
You might have been the trapper.
And I was thrown in as this character that I'd never seen before. And nowhere in that loading screen did I find like an explanation of my abilities. There's still things that like I was laying them down and they seemed to have. I think one of them was slowing the monster. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and
but I kept putting it on him. Seemed to be a positive thing for me to do. I still don't really know what it was.
Yeah.
But also for a team game, if it's just public servers, unless you're just like you're really into it and you've learned everyone's abilities, how do you know what the rest of your team has?
Yeah,
I had no idea, and there's a lot of characters in that game because there's four roles, or the 5?
There's four. Well, there's 5 including the monster.
Yeah,
So
so
there
okay,
are-
anyway, four
Are they
roles.
classes or roles?
Well, kind
The
of
classes,
kind
and
of,
then there's a whole bunch of characters for each class.
yeah,
Okay.
and there's like 6, 7, whatever. There's a lot. There's a lot going on in there, and it seems like they're quite different. Like I think they all get a couple of base abilities and then 2 class specific abilities. I think is how it works. But like I eventually understood the Lazarus Man after playing him for a while. He had some kind of good abilities, but I have no idea what you did. And I think
Most of the time, they were just things that tracked the monster, so I
Yeah.
just kept laying them down as soon as they were.
I think healer, it's very easy to understand what it's going to do. I found that a lot simpler. But I did jump into a trapper because one of the problems is that people would just leave the game. And I think this is where the game still falls down, is that it's just not fun for large chunks of it. And if you're playing like a good monster, you're just running around. Like there's not... The whole early part of the game is just you following tracks.
So I've never touched the game.
Yeah.
I installed it, but I never got around to playing it. But fundamentally, how does it work? So one person's a monster, 4 players.
Yeah, one person's a monster. They're running around a large arena.
And there are mobs that
There's
level
creatures
up?
around, and you can eat them for food. There's elite creatures which you can kill and also get a buff off them.
Okay.
So I got an awesome one with one of our matches where I got like a freaking 50-meter tall jump.
Yeah, it was like 500% jump
Yeah.
height or
Oh,
something.
wow.
Yeah, that was cool. Like,
I was like, hey, this is super useful because
Yeah.
the jetpack runs down way too quick for me.
Sure.
It's like, and that's one of the things. It's like, it's a little bit like Lawbreakers, where Lawbreakers I had the problem of the game wanted to be fast, but all the fast movement abilities had limits of use.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to move around the map speedily, once you got to a firefight, you had no more mobility. And the same in Evolve. It's like, oh yes, if I want to be efficient and catch up to the creature, now I'm here. I can't jetpack around anymore.
Okay,
I'm just a sitting duck.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So, Kabuto versus Mechs,
Yeah.
is that fun?
It's generally fun. Yeah.
Why is that fun, but Evolve wasn't as much fun?
Well, it does not need to have like in Evolve, the creature is the only thing you're trying to do.
Yeah.
When you're playing Giants multiplayer, you're allowed to kill Kabuto.
It just respawns.
He just respawn. It just
Yeah.
comes back, and that's fine. And so the actual combat between them is more balanced. So it's like this can be a match if you're. And it unfortunately got a little bit balanced towards that each one should be able to fight the other, which is wrong. The big monster should just be able to crush you.
Yeah.
But one of the things I did with Giant Citizen Kabuto was that when you got physically closer to the big monster, his stomach would open up and there'd be a weak spot that opened inside.
Yeah.
But if you were at a distance, the weak spot would be concealed. So they just did something to me like, okay, you've got to take a risk to make an impact. And I just don't get mechanics
see
like that
that.
in
Yeah.
Evolve. It's like you can't pull off a clever trick to really like wear down the monster. It's like, oh, let's just keep hammering it for the minute that it's in this dome.
I think there were some interesting abilities with the mines and things. Like maybe that would have been a bit more fun. I don't know if you played any of that. Where you...
I mean, I laid down some mines
Yeah.
and they attacked it and they did a bit of damage, but
Yeah.
not enough to turn the tide
I
of
think,
battle or
like,
anything.
It's like it's designed around you need to put that dome down probably 3 times to take it down. Like maybe if you're
Yeah,
really good as a
something like that.
team, you could probably take it down. But if you're playing public games, you're not going to
And
have that.
you probably need to pick characters that have complementary abilities.
Sure.
But it's free to play the game. So in each class, you only got one.
Right.
And you got to unlock the others. So it becomes, well, how much do I have to play of like the shit balance until I can find a team that's the good balance?
Like there was like a low tier unlock. So the like Lazarus Man I got for free.
Yeah.
And then only after maybe 4 or 5 games there was another cheap person
Yeah.
I could unlock. So it's like okay, I've got 2. I couldn't do that with any other classes though. I'd have to just go healer. For the most part, the free to play wasn't as intrusive as I thought it was going to be.
No, I don't necessarily think it'd be. I don't think it'd be bad. My problem is that I'm not necessarily going to get the game to a stage that it's actually working and fun until I unlock the things that do that. I
Yeah.
don't know what those things are, and I can't try them.
And to be honest, there's so many classes there. They probably could be a bit more generous early on, just to kind of give you a bit more, or even go down the kind of League of Legends route and just go, here's the free one this week.
Yeah.
Come in and give it a play.
You know what I want? I want Evolve 2 without the monster. I want Evolve 2, which is a 4-player co-op game, about all these classes interacting, and because they do really good stuff. Before the match, depending on who you choose, they'll have conversations, and they must have done hundreds of these conversations.
There's some good banter between them.
It even happens during the match. If 2 characters are running next to each other, they might start having a conversation.
That's pretty cool.
It puts in story and character. It's really nice production values. But a lot of the time you don't necessarily appreciate it because you're either fighting or you're bored.
Yeah, well, it almost feels like it's trying to band-aid the problem of, oh shit, we got to run around for 10 minutes to try and find this damn monster.
And so it's like if the creature wasn't a player and it behaved like a creature, then you could do things like lay a trap. It's like, oh, okay, we learn its behavior patterns and we can try and do something like this. So instead of being like just a match about fighting our creature, it could be a larger, like the environments are pretty large that you could do multiple things in it anyway.
Sure.
And then it could be Monster Hunter.
Yeah, you want it to be Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that would be like a better way to go, because right now my enjoyment of, because I didn't even play Hunt as Monster because I don't even really want to play. I like the co-op aspect of it. But my enjoyment is so dependent on the ability of that monster. If it is a competent monster, my game is not fun. I'm just bored. I'm running around. People are going to leave. They're going to hit stage 3, and I'll probably die.
Yeah, if the monster gets to stage 3, very difficult to take down because you don't really up. Your abilities don't increase during the map.
Okay.
It does. So it's the hunter's goal to get there quicker. But if the monster's competent, your options are limited.
Yeah.
And so if you were playing as the monster, is your goal just to basically avoid people?
Early.
Yeah, you avoid people and you just kill animals around and eat them.
And maybe that's one of the problems, is that early on in that game, there is no motivation for that monster to try and make the game engaging for the monster, for the hunters.
Yeah.
The sole thing that monster wants to do is avoid all combat and make it boring for the hunters.
Yeah. I mean, like a really good monster, and it's harder to do now with the update, but originally evolved, a good monster would, run for a little bit and then go into sneak mode, so then their footprints don't appear, and they could double back and they could hide and do it. Which was great for the monster, fucking boring for everyone else.
Yeah, no kidding.
Those levels are huge.
Yeah.
You can't accidentally stumble across it unless you're very lucky. So yeah, I think this is just a core. The game is really well made, but I think they actually failed to make the game good in the first place.
There were some fundamental problems with that. The whole premise that should have been picked up early on and probably fixed. The direction probably should have been changed.
And there's a few other games doing similar things now. It's called, it's not Dead by Dawn, it's something like that. It's basically, it's the same premise of the new Friday the 13th game, which is there is a slasher, and then you've got 4 teens trying to escape. Because the thing there is that the single person is the person that's trying to take out everyone. So if the monster's job was to kill the hunters, and the hunters are trying to achieve a secondary goal, because in this, like I know Friday the 13th, which I actually know more about than the game that's actually out, it's things like there are different win conditions. So you might have to repair a phone to call the police.
Okay.
You might have to repair the car to get away. And all these things. And people can actually, I think you can actually get away. You can escape and win the game while there's still other people playing. Things like that.
I'm sorry, jock, slut, and black kid. I've got to live.
Yeah. It's working together, taking the opportunity, people sacrifice. Things that stories can come out of. I just don't know. I don't know what story could ever come out of Evolve other than we got it in the ring and then we shot it till it died.
We managed to corner it and put a dome on it, and then we did half damage and then it ran away.
The best you could do was because I don't think there's a really scenario where you could lay a trap. I mean, there is the game mode where the monster's supposed to take out the power nodes or whatever.
That's at the end.
Yeah.
So if they get to stage 3, the monster then has to go for the power nodes.
Yeah, so it's you could sort of lay a trap there, but that's not really much of a trap.
Yeah.
It's just so the monster could lay it away and surprise you. It's I got surprised by a monster. But that's as good as the story gets, I think. Which is a pity because there's so much world building and so much great design and the graphics are great and just make Monster Hunter with it.
Yeah, I agree.
I get that.
Evolve 2 Monster Hunter.
Yeah, and then just put in monsters. Just keep adding in new monsters.
Yeah, some of those. I know one of the levels we were playing, we flew towards a beach and there's just this Leviathan which is beached and had its guts ripped open.
Oh, jeez.
I'm
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's that looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, crossed off the list.
Off we go.
Off the list.
I got to cross off in 2 places because we both have. Okay, I'm going to talk about human fall flat.
Okay.
Is that the right emphasis?
Yeah?
I don't know. It says human fall flat.
Yeah.
But you said human fall flat.
I guess I just mumble and talk fast. Sorry.
Human fall flat.
Yeah. Human fall
Fall
flat.
flat.
Human fall flat.
The name confused me because I didn't know how to pronounce it right.
Okay, so Human Fall Flat is a game which is basically Gang Beast, the single-player puzzle game. And it is somewhat amazing.
I think you described it as the most erotic game of the year.
Oh, that is because you can go into the design mode because you're allowed to paint your blank character. And you can hit the webcam button. Originally, I actually saved you guys for a little bit. I actually did my entire front side of my body, and I was not wearing a shirt at the time. But then I just decided to make him naked with my face. And then, because the game doesn't have a free camera, so you can't actually get the camera in front of your character very often. So to get it, because I took a screenshot and put it online. I just got him to grab the bottom of this boat I was in, and then just twisted the character until like he was facing the camera, which put him in some weird yoga position. But it's really, really interesting. So it's a game where you just have to get to the exit point of a level. There's heaps of ways you can cheese it once you get good at the game, but that's kind of the thing. It's like the game is teaching you the mechanics as you go along. When you go back to the early levels and you work out you could just cheese it, well, that's kind of your reward. It teaches you very well as you go along. There's things like, this is a game where I can pick up a long bar with a hook on the end, run up to a big chasm, but there's a little bar sticking out of it, hook the bar on it, still holding on, swing over to the other side, and I did that first attempt.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So once the controls are not uber intuitive, but they teach you in such a way that by the time you approach most obstacles, you can do it no real problem.
So it's not a clunky game, or it's clunky until you learn it.
Yeah, it introduces you to the clunkiness as you go, because I mean it's a physics-driven puzzle game.
Yeah.
Which means there's, but the truth is they fake the physics sometimes.
Good.
When they need to fake the physics, they fake them, which is great because when you want something to just react, when you want that awesome ragdoll, when you want the thing to bounce off the rocks and things to crumble, it's like it looks like physics.
Yeah.
But then when you are, say, rowing a rowboat, it's not that specific.
Yeah, that's
If I'm doing the rowing motion, I can pretty much do it.
So you're not controlling each limb, and you don't have
you are.
Oh, but you don't have the oars going everywhere because it's not perfect.
The arms go together.
Yeah.
So you put the camera up and the arms raise, and then you can push. So you can just go and then sort of step forward.
So you use
step forward, go down.
You're using the camera to move the arms?
The camera moves the arms, and this is both good and bad.
Yep.
So if you want to pick something up,
To be honest with you, it just sounds bad.
no,
Sounds really tricky.
no, you point the camera at the beer, pick up the beer.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's the bit. No, so
But it's not you're not in first person.
third
you're
person. Yeah. So this is the bit that the level 2 or 3 they teach you how to climb. Stick your hands up in the air, go to the ledge. You might be able to jump at the ledge. You'll grab onto it, and then you physically push your arms down and lift yourself up. It's really good. Fortunately, that means that camera up, camera down. You're going up a lot of climbing.
As you do.
Camera up,
yeah.
camera down. When I'm rowing, camera up, camera down, camera up.
Paul gets sick.
No, I didn't get sick.
Yeah.
But I did wish that I could just look at... Because it's quite an attractive game. It's very simplistic graphics. But it's got cool, surrealist environments. And I kind of just wish I could have like a better like AI-controlled camera and then just use the stick for the arms.
Sure.
I'm totally not sold on this using the camera.
It's not you. But the thing is, how else would you do it?
I don't know. I think I need to see this. I need to play it.
Now, this isn't a James game because you'll get frustrated.
I get frustrated easy.
Oh, actually, here's a faker.
Yep.
So,
Faker?
I was talking about fake physics. So one of the cool things I put in the things, if there are like bars like to a prison cell,
Yep.
and you get a stick, you can put the stick between them, turn it, and you'll bend those bars. The bending bars is totally scripted. I mean, it's not actually doing the physics of that.
Yeah.
But it just takes the case of, if you're doing this physics motion, we will bend these objects. And that's where it's being smart and not being over the top.
Who made it?
I don't know.
Some people.
Some jerk.
Some people.
Yeah.
It's fine. And the only thing wrong with the camera pointing it, moving your arms up and down, is that it just makes the camera wobble around a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of the time you don't. Most of the time you aren't climbing up going, but once in a while you are. Especially if you're like doing like cliff climbing and stuff.
Yeah. It's weird how camera angles these days, like screwing that up is almost unforgivable. Because I remember in my childhood, a messed up camera was like half the challenge of every game I played. Like
You gotta flight that camera.
the original Tomb Raiders, Mario 64, Zelda, like these earlier 3D third person
I tell
games.
you, a human does not have this, but I wish it did. Don't limit the camera where the character can physically go. Just make the geometry between you and the character invisible.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're standing next to a wall and the camera, you get really close to the character, which that does make me feel a bit sick actually. But it's just like I was trying to line up something and now I can't because there's a wall in the way. Just put the camera there. I mean, I know it's work, but it'll be better. No, but I actually had a lot of fun with it. Some of the levels are huge. I swear one of them took me like an hour or two.
Wow.
What kind of goal is there?
Just get to the end.
Okay.
And if you can work out better ways of doing it. So there's a huge medieval castle level. Oh, so we'll talk about frustration, because a game like this, obviously frustration can set in. All the levels are basically floating in space, which bad, you can fall off. Good, when you fall off, you simply, it's part of the concept of this game is that you just fall onto the new levels. So if you fall off the edge, you just fall like back down into the last like save point position.
Okay.
So you just like fall from the bottom of the level to the top of the level. It's a 2-second thing, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
There's no, it doesn't reset you to a checkpoint. Everything's still where it is. You can reset it if you need a physics object back that got broken or whatever. And like, yeah, so you can take risks, and there's not really much risk to it. And once or twice I had problems that I couldn't quite see the solution for straight away. So I just, I'm getting pretty good at cliff climbing. So just like, fuck this puzzle, walk around the end of it, there we go. And I figure if I can do that, I learned it.
That's a solution.
Yeah. It's very funny, and the only thing I was thinking with it was that, single player gang beasts. I'm like, you know what? This shit would probably be just kind of hilarious with someone else, especially when you start trolling each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's 2-player.
Where does...
Two players per
it is
screen.
2-player?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And it's like, I'll have to play this later with James and make him very angry.
So where does the humour come from? Like, what are you laughing at in this game?
You are laughing at things going wrong.
Yep.
And sometimes you are just laughing at the shit you just pulled off. And sometimes it's just, they like to commentate, just like clever achievement pop-ups. Like when you do a thing and it pops up basically with a little one-line joke. So, that's cool. Actually, one of the things that shows, I really enjoyed the gameplay of the game. I think the levels are great. It's definitely lacking quite a bit of polish. But that's things like the menus. The menus feel like someone put them together in MS Paint in 10 minutes. To teach you the game, there's remote controls on the ground. You pick it up, a video appears and says like, "Oh yes, well, humans are very well known for pushing buttons," and I'm like, it's relatively well produced. So, And then I go to the next level, pick up a remote control, just a bit of like MS Paint text just sort of appears in the wall. It's like, oh, did you not have something funny to say about this one?
Those end up being expensive to make.
Oh, they are.
You know what's cheap? Text.
Oh. Especially if you just draw it freehand.
Yep. just aerial. Just go with it.
That said, I like the game a lot. And if you're so inclined to someone that likes to play, because there's a lot of things to play, a lot to explore. So, while Gang Beasts is just about beating the shit out of each other in funny ways, this is about exploring a surreal environment in funny ways. And it's fun. You can't swim, but touching water doesn't kill you. Having your head under the water for an amount of time kills you. So you can just go into like the shallows, push like the ragdoll button, just so your face is under the water, and you'll just drown.
And that's the funny stuff. All right.
Yeah, it makes me laugh.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. And it's just fun every time you work out a new mechanic that you can do.
Yeah.
And one of the very best ones, there's catapults in some of the levels. They're fun to play with. You actually have to wind them down. Actually pretty easy to do once you work out, you just step down, go around, it's fine.
Let me guess, camera up, camera down, camera up, camera down.
Well, not really. Because when we're saying, when we're talking about when we're saying camera up, camera down, a lot of the time, it's only really when you're climbing that it's effective, because otherwise you're just going it's like just small angles. So it's not like it's making your camera wiggle around everywhere.
Well,
it's not a lot. It's, as I say, and probably when I'm doing it on the stairs, I probably don't have to do it as much as I'm doing it. It just feels right. It's like, up I get. And you have to get so when you push yourself up, you've got to get the timing right to release your hands. And the best part is when your head hits the ground and it makes a thud noise. Like, that's the marker. So release your hands. Bonk. Oh, here we go. So yeah, it's got its moments.
It sounds like every ladder you climb is a fat kid getting out of a pool.
Pretty much. It's one of those things. The most spectacular, the things that you think would be the most frustrating, like grabbing a long piece of rope off a tree, jumping off a cliff and using it to swing somewhere else on the level, and letting go and landing on it. That should be shit. Those things I've never had to do more than once. The only times I've ever had to do more than once are things that are like, I'm trying to stack a physics object on top of another one, and half the time I'm not doing the right thing anyway. When I'm frustrated, it's because I'm doing it wrong, not because... Which is still like, they could make that nicer, but to a degree, like, I've never seen anyone do it better. So maybe Inside, but that's a totally different kind of game.
And when you're dealing with physics and there's a certain degree of jankiness that's going to come along with that,
Yeah.
it can be difficult to know
It's
if
quite,
you're doing it
it's
right.
quite forgiving. Well, one of the things is you can quite accurately walk across very thin platforms because it fudges the feet. Even though you're a physics object in the world, it doesn't say, hey, you've got 1 foot hanging off the side of it. Guess you're falling to your death now. It might start sliding you off the edge, but you've got time. You can correct then.
Yeah.
It's like, so as long as your center mass is above what you want to walk on, you're not going to fall off.
Okay.
So it's like, they're very physicsy when it needs it, and otherwise they're just...
Sounds like they put a lot of thought into what can be forgiven.
Yeah, because it's like, as I said, the big problem with games like this is they can just be not fun, because you're just like, oh yeah, it was funny watching the thing flail around. It's like bad simulator games.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it was funny, but as an actual game, I'd rather shit myself to death.
It is sort of why I struggled with something like Goat Simulator.
Yeah.
Goat Simulator's just, we got janky physics, go play with it, and funny stuff happens, but the janky physics are everywhere.
Yeah, like Goat Simulator, it's at least because I never really played any of the expansions or anything. The first one, it's when you run around and it's find the joke.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to actually trying to pull stuff off, god damn it! It's like I gotta use I better lick it so I stick to it. Then oh no! Now I'm just clipping through the skybox and just whatever. Fuck this game. I think I still like 100%ed Goat.
No, really?
The first release, I think I 100%.
It wasn't a James game, that one.
I just needed I need to do this one, but that was great. Like that had things like you could drag up people's bodies to the sacrificial circle and turn into the evil goat. And shit like that. It had great fun in it. Imagine Goat Simulator with good, well thought out
good
physics.
gameplay.
Oh, yeah.
Could be cool. But then they would have had to invest money into it.
I don't know, man. They wanted to make that in a weekend with their $70 of
Unity asset stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure they like the money they made from that series.
I reckon they're sad about it.
But I think they're a little bit sad.
Because they tried. Like, their other games,
They're
really tried.
They're Sanctum, aren't they?
The uncle, my...
Yeah, but I think that's the
I
same
think
thing with Sanctum 1
yeah,
and 2.
Sanctum.
They're good games.
Yeah. But it's
I
not...
played Story of My Uncle. I played, I think, it was the first, prototype they released of it.
Didn't make them Goat Simulator money, though.
It did not. Okay, I am crossing out Human Fall Flat.
But it is apparently something you should
Human
check
Fall
out.
Flat.
Steam?
Steam?
Human Fall Flat. Was it on Steam?
It's on Steam, yeah.
How much was it?
Money. I don't know.
It was one money.
I was feeling gamey this week.
Alrighty.
So, some things came in. So, things to talk about. We had another banning in Australia this week. Which was kind of funny because it's a game I reviewed like a year ago. And Anais played it quite recently because it was on early access originally. I didn't even realise because the original game was so fucking well put together. I didn't realise. This is The Bug Butcher. Which is basically Pang, if anyone remembers that game.
Which I don't.
No, but Pang was cool. So basically, it's an arcade shooter. You're a 2D side-scroller. You run along the bottom. You shoot directly up. And aliens come in and they mainly bounce around. Because Pang was about shooting balloons with a thing.
Okay, yeah.
So this is shooting bugs. And they have lots of different combinations. And you got ones that split and ones that explode. And it's really well animated. It's like... it reminds me of... I just think the art style reminds me of Battle Beasts.
Oh, Jesus.
There's a deep pull. Sorry, that's a very pointless comparison for me to make. It's really, really good game. They wanted to release it on console, I believe, so they put it up for classification in Australia. What could this cartoon game about shooting bugs possibly have in it to get it fucking banned? Well,
A girl with
refused
small
classifications.
breasts.
No. It has drugs in it.
No.
One of the power-ups is shaped like a syringe, which is fine. That can get through too. That can get through fine. Unfortunately, the power-up is called a speed boost. So they're like, oh, well, drugs and speed is a word for a drug.
So
Promoted the use of drugs for a benefit, so you're banned. That's a great impersonation.
that was pretty much what the...
Yeah, that was Alexander Downer, right?
Which is...
Motherfuckers, did they not play
Fallout 3 all over again.
Well, it always
yes.
quite literally.
Fallout 3, because they had stim packs too.
They have morphine.
No, yeah.
Oh, morphine, right.
Morphine
and,
was in Fallout 3, and they changed it to Med-X.
They're to something.
And then,
Yeah.
but I mean, StarCraft had stim packs, right? Which
But
was,
they weren't called speed.
They're not, but they weren't called heroin. They weren't
but
called
they
morphine.
were a needle they
No,
did
no,
to
it's
get
gotta be-
super
No.
energetic.
But it can't be a real drug.
You can have as many fake drugs as you want.
You just can't have a real
drug.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's
So they're going to change it to fast boost. But here's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they could change it to fast boost,
Yeah.
which would sound stupid.
But
They could call it drug fun. That would actually be fine. Probably. They could change the icon from a syringe, but
to a dick.
well, they then have to spend more money to get it reclassified.
Jeez.
It's not like, and this is just where this like, why have people involved in this process if no common sense can be put to it? I mean, sure, like, even if you're like, call up.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we all said about the federal election.
Yeah, I guess.
That still happened.
It's fine actually refusing classifications. Like, it is in there, it's a weird, like, coincidental technicality.
but let them just fix it.
Yeah, you get to say, hey guys, there's this weird situation. You can literally fix this by changing the text.
Yeah, I'm just going to edit the file, and we're golden.
So, are you going to promise us you'll do that? Okay. It's
Yeah.
G-rated now.
Yeah.
Probably PG. It does have comic violence.
Yeah.
And drug use.
Makes me a bit sad.
Yeah, that's just...
Well, and I don't know, because I don't know the exact cost of classification. I believe it's in the thousands.
Yeah, I think it's a few
Yeah,
$1,000.
and I don't know how much money that game would make in Australia anyway.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, and so it just becomes like, well, do we spend another $2,000 for maybe only make a few grand? I don't know.
For a small user base,
Yeah.
which, quite frankly, if it's on PS4, they could go buy it from another store anyway. Although now it's apparently banned in Steam as well.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
once you've got the classification, when you don't have the classification, it doesn't matter. But once you do, you have to apply it.
yeah.
Oh well, I've still got mine. No, I don't know why
I think I'm having,
fine.
I think I'm having an aneurysm over here.
Hey, I think I was in a good bundle last week. You pick it up for like $1.
Can you still get it on like Humble Store?
I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good game. Check it out. Go reward them with money for our
Sure,
government
you can
being
get
stupid.
it on G2A keys.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so sad. I googled human fall flat, and 7 out of the 10 first responses on Google were just free download links for it. But then I realized I hadn't googled human fall flat. Because I wanted to take a good screenshot, I'd googled human fall flat free camera. But I had just in effect got human fall flat free.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the internet may suck, but not quite as much as I thought.
Because I've been thinking a little bit about what games I could work on next in the future, and do I stay with doing mobile, or do I sort of where I kind of know that space pretty well, or do I kind of start trying to give Steam a go? And I hear about like the piracy rates, and I don't know, like. I think
it's better than it used to be.
Yeah.
The thing is, don't look at the piracy rates, look at the actual sales.
So, I don't know.
Piracy rates are pointless, partly because I even know multiple, especially teenagers, that just download everything. They never even play it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm collecting. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway. Yeah, you should make a VR game using teledildonics.
I actually have a pitch. That's just a random idea.
Okay.
So no one steal my idea. I'm going to make everyone sign NDAs. No. You can steal my idea.
NDAs are
No one's going to
worthless.
steal my stupid idea
I
anyway.
just based it around someone doing
how-
speed,
how-
and no one will be allowed to make it.
How are you going to sue me? I'm the one with the money.
No, I was just thinking tiny tower.
But
But
with dildos.
well, I was going to say, but focus on relationships, so more akin to Sims. It's a very high concept. Is all I had when I was cycling home.
There's that new UK dating show where you look at the person naked.
That's not what I was thinking.
Do it like
going on,
that.
I was thinking, like, could you?
Is Max going on there?
Mags.
Oh, God. I thought you were talking about our friend's young child.
We're talking
I thought,
about...
not for at least 8 years.
Jesus.
You don't know his age.
No, I don't know.
He's 19 now.
Okay.
Nice.
That's
No, he's more than that. We went to his first birthday. Oh, wait.
Wait,
no,
hold on, Paul. Do you understand how months work?
This is too much detail is going into this now. It's supposed to be a throwaway gross joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, so focusing on relationships, okay.
Yeah. That's just the general pitch. What do you think? I have no idea what the moment-to-moment gameplay is. I just know it's kind of a little bit tiny tower.
It could be fine.
That's all I need.
Glowing
That's all I need.
endorsement.
It's just a random idea I had.
This is invalid. I never played Tiny Tower because I'm not a big mobile gamer.
Tiny
guy.
Tower is a cute game.
So,
It's very shallow. But
It is cute.
So you
cute.
just build rooms and build up your tower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like on the surface, it looks like it might be something like Sim Tower. I don't know if
Okay.
you play Sim Tower, but it's nowhere near that complexity. It's
Right.
it's just you've got a tower, you build a room, you'll get people in, they need somewhere to live and have a job they like.
What about like some dystopian future thing where you
It's
just
a shelter.
well, kind of like there's already that
There is
that
yeah,
game.
we
Yeah.
already have that one.
I've heard some amazing tales of like shelters of exclusively women and stuff in Fallout Shelter, and then it's like oh no. The best part is when you hit the population cap in Fallout Shelter,
Yeah.
and then women get pregnant.
Well, what do you do?
They're permanently pregnant
They just so
until somebody dies.
Oh, really? They just that was their solution.
I don't know if they've changed it now, but originally when it came out, that was how it went.
You know what? I can understand the programmer hitting that problem. It's like, all right, we hit the cap. What do we do? And there's just somewhere there's just a condition which is like, can I give birth? Is population less than max pop? Turn true. And that stopped this making this crazy thing happen.
Should have been like
I'm sorry to say this, but like,
But the
I
end
wish
result is
like they fixed it by having a hot patch which added SIDS.
no. I don't want SIDS in my Fallout game.
no. It should be. It should be like young James III has been born. It's like about our society is full. Who will you sacrifice?
Yeah. And they just ejected from the vault.
No, and there's like you can eject the child. You can eject few of them all use lower level people, or there's just like a dice, and it's like
We're doing the lottery.
to the chance.
Oh, Shelter Hunger Games. Just keep the babies alive for a little while.
No. They have them in knife fight between babies. Video games.
Yeah,
Video
video
games.
games.
Yeah. Or should we go back onto Comic-Con now?
Yeah.
There's a,
Yeah.
I have nothing else to say.
No, well, okay.
Conan O'Brien got a good suit.
All I have seen
Okay.
from Comic Con, given I
I love Conan, but I'm unaware of this story.
The company that made most of the superhero, the outfits for Batman vs Superman,
Oh,
and
yeah.
a bunch of other things, made him a big suit. So it's got big armored hair, and, a big muscly suit with a large
beautiful.
crotch, and he gets an ass for once. Just very happy. Sorry, what were you wanting to see? An actual thing? I don't actually.
I think I forgot. No,
Good.
because I just don't follow news or pop culture. I'm terrible at observing the world.
It's true.
It's very
You didn't even
true.
get my absolutely terrible, really too soon joke before.
No, I don't.
They only started the Royal Commission today. That's how soon it is.
Oh, okay. All I have seen is the Wonder Woman trailer. So fill me in on what other trailers have come out.
I don't know.
Comic-Con.
TV show stuff.
I think
Okay.
they did launch a Justice League trailer.
So it's a
I
Justice League
haven't seen
trailer.
it. I haven't seen any trailers.
I saw
You're
it.
ahead of me. And?
It's got Aquaman in it.
Okay.
Superman will be back, right?
Yeah, they didn't put him in the trailer, but he's on all the posters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't realise.
They've added Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman.
Yeah.
I
Whatever.
Which
don't
is
mind.
weird because they're missing Green Lantern. That seems like a big miss to me.
He's too busy being
Good movie.
Deadpool.
Yeah, true.
I don't mind the TV show of Flash.
No,
It's
I haven't
okay.
watched it.
It's way too long. It's
I
like
sort of
23 episodes a
gave up
season.
on it. But season
That's so
one
old
was
school.
a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it up until I realized it was I think I watched 12 episodes. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna go somewhere soon, right? And I looked and oh, I'm only halfway through. I'm out. This is too long.
It's like when I tried to watch Inuyasha. It's like, surely it's over soon. Only 200 episodes left.
My problem with The Flash was, and I realized it was the same when I was a kid trying to get into the stories, that so much of it, he's got this rogues gallery, but every problem is just well, I beat the guy who was faster than me. I'm back to the fastest man in the world. What was that? At least, Batman's villains weren't just I'm Fruit Fly Man. I'm Superman. I am Ultra Guy.
I am also incredibly wealthy. And they call me Possum Magic?
Possum
Can we
magic?
get a sponsorship from Lamingtons? Is that
don't
company
know.
or just a recipe?
I think it's the recipe.
Can
man.
we-
Yeah, there's no Big Lamington.
If there were, I'd be against it.
Next week, can we just get like a taste.com recipe printout blown up massively for
It's just like, it's all just
back
Lamington
there.
recipe.
Brought to you by Lamingtons.
Getting that sweet Lamington lobby money.
I don't even know where Lamington started here. Anyway,
You mentioned Possum Magic, and wasn't that all about Lamingtons?
I don't even remember.
I don't even know what they're talking
it's
about.
a book.
Possum.
It's a
Oh,
Possum
okay.
Magic.
And I think Lamingtons and Vegemite sandwiches and Australian
I
cuisine.
know that.
are
I know
involved.
there's Vegemite sandwiches at least. I think. I don't really remember. I haven't been a child in many years. Okay.
Man, remember fairy bread? That's a reference.
Fairy bread sucks. Cheerios are awesome.
You know, sometimes, not recently, but like,
You make a Cheerio hot dog using fairy bread as the bun?
no, but I would.
Oh,
Because
man.
Cheerios are really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're like,
It's just the just anus.
if you're at shopping, you can just go, you can, when you get your little ticket at the deli,
It's weird because
Can
like,
I have a Cheerio?
you can say, can I have half a kilo of Cheerios, please? And then you go home, and you boil that shit.
So are you just explaining to people how to buy things at a shop? I went to the bakery and I said,
oh shit.
multigrain, thanks.
Oh, what's
About that thick slice.
You get your Cheerios.
Oh,
you snip them, and you put them in the water, but don't leave them there too long or they explode. Then dry them off, put them in your bowl with your sauce. That shit. Mwah.
Is this your fucking Master Chef?
We're missing the MasterChef final
those,
right now.
What are those like telemarketing ads? Not telemarketing. Like Buy Power or whatever.
Oh, like the thinly veiled like consumer choice things.
Yeah. That's what we should be at. So sponsored by now.
We're getting big Cheerio sponsorship next.
Why buy 2 hamburger rolls when you get 1 hot dog roll? Cut it in half. That's taken.
That's a pro tip.
Okay.
Oh.
So I've been playing Final Fantasy 9.
How's Final Fantasy 9 going? What are you playing it on?
PC.
So is that on Steam or is it emulated?
It is from GOG.
From GOG.
Yeah.
Good old games.
So that's the.
They're officially not good old games
Yeah,
anymore.
they
though.
renamed themselves to GOG, didn't they?
Yeah.
Wait, is it just GOG? It's just
Yeah.
their
Well,
name?
they
Yes.
realised there's a
Oh,
finite
oh.
number of.
Good old games.
Of games that are both old and good. But the best part...
I've got like a bunch of games from 2008, and then just like, it's almost old.
So so this doesn't get forgotten in the annals of history. When this happened, Good Old Games they closed down the site and they put up a site saying like, you know, we are very sorry, but Good Old Games is closing and everything, and there like wasn't a way to like download your games or anything.
Really?
It was just like out of the blue, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Everyone starts like big internet tirade and everything. I think they actually had to then speed up the announcement because it was like, "Oh, fake out! Sorry, no, we rebranded as GOG, and we're look, everyone, have System Shock."
As a Molotov cocktail gets thrown through their office windows.
Some marketing person.
Sorry,
must
they're
have
playing
lost their
Ultima
job.
right now.
It was like it's be like if Steam was like, "Oh, they're doing an upgrade," and they're like, "Oh no, we're going to fake it out by just saying we shut down the service and you can't download your games anymore."
Or like
Like,
if they came out with like, buy Half-Life 3, and it's 3 copies of Half-Life.
That would be glorious. But I think this was. I mean, people are pretty sold on digital.
What if
distribution now.
Half-Life 3, and then when people started it, it was Left 4 Dead 3?
Oh,
I was like, just joking, guys.
but yay!
Wouldn't hate it.
I'd be a bit angry.
Half-Life 3 won't happen.
Will Half-Life 3 ever happen?
Yeah, but it'll be like a Netflix series.
The only way I can see Valve releasing anything in the future, another game, if it in some way pushes some other business agenda.
Yeah, like the VR.
Like VR. So it'd have to be VR. What are you doing? You're drawing on my hand. It's got a circle.
So,
Thank you.
what if Half-Life 3 could only be unlocked through Counter-Strike Go?
Oh, that would be amazing if it was like Half-Life 3 was distributed in a crate.
Okay, so
That would. So there's only like 10 copies. It's.
did you know that one of the CS:GO lotto sites was called CS Goatsy?
Oh.
No. Does Goatsy, is that the .com still there, or the
.cx.
.cx still there?
I hope so. They held up a warning for a while.
That seems counter to the point of Goatsy. Are you going to check out Goatsy?
It's internet history.
All right, you do that, and I'll talk about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, all right, sorry.
No, so actually, oh no, we do. Shit, we've interrupted it with something that has done it. Very quickly on Goats. Fuck, CSGO. On the scandal of it. So basically, I think we might have mentioned that Valve had like blocked the site and they unblocked it and that sort of stuff. So that's all a lie. Because all of the reaction to it and everything, until a couple of days ago, Valve hadn't done anything. All of this stuff,
That's so unlike them.
All of the blocking, all of the reaction, all the things in response is all community. Valve outsource everything to people who do it for free. They're masters. So Valve eventually did do something where they said, this is against terms of service. You're not allowed to use our API for that. We'll sue you if you keep going. So Valve have gone back against them now. So that was their first move. All the other moves were just like, half of them was one guy that moderates the CSGO forum on Reddit. He just like, all these people just have weird access to all these admin tools. And like, they were doing it right. They're actually doing it by the book. And that's where you get flips on decisions, because people are like, you did that reactionary. That's not what the rule says. Like, the people that moderate Wikipedia, I assume they're lovely. But they're serious. I
tried on Wikipedia once to put a reference to Toad the Wet Sprocket. I wanted to make a mention on the Wikipedia page that it was mentioned in Futurama. That was my edit.
Yeah.
And it kept getting changed back. The Wikipedia police were like, no, they're not approving that edit to this page to say it was referenced somewhere else.
Oh.
Now,
that's sad.
It'd make me sad. Anyway,
you know what can fix that?
Final Fantasy IX.
So I haven't played too much. I've only played a couple of hours of the game. But I really like all those games. They're games I don't so much want to play as just to sort of like sit in front of for a while. And that's good with Final Fantasy games. Yeah. But like, it's just, they always have like that majesty, and I love the music of Final Fantasy games. It just whisks me away.
I mean, the backgrounds are always pretty. And...
Oh, no, I was actually just trying to make eye contact with you.
Oh, Jesus, it's still... Thanks, Paul.
Because goatsy.cx doesn't exist anymore, but goatsy.info was thankfully there.
Thanks.
There's a warning at the top of the page. The lawyers informed us that we need a warning. So if you're under the age of 18 or you find it offensive, don't look at it.
The funny thing is about me looking at Goatsy now is that I think the internet has changed my view on what is horrific and...
You know what? Like, I'm fine with it. I mean, good for him. But it was actually worse than I remembered.
Really? I'm looking at like, oh, okay.
I can't believe how distended his ballsack is, though.
From that angle, I mean, that's all taint. That's all taint.
True.
Yeah, let's hit the back button.
Okay, there
Close
we
that.
go. Yeah, because I jumped into Final Fantasy IX not that long ago either.
Yeah.
I was playing it on...
Is 9 the one that's like a bit chibi-ish?
Yeah,
it's
because they had 7 and then they had 8, which wasn't chibi at
With
all.
the gun sword.
The gun sword, which was an awesome invention, by the way.
Hey man, what does it shoot? You just hit someone and you hit the trigger, you hit the trigger at the same time. But what is it shoot?
It's the natural evolution of a bayonetta. It had a trigger.
Yeah.
It had a trigger, but it had no barrel. The barrel was a blade.
Pretty sure it had a barrel.
Yeah, no, it didn't. No, it didn't.
I'm pretty sure it didn't.
The hilt was a gun. The barrel was a sword.
Okay, well, they had that one, which was like, which I enjoyed, but it was the super serious, really.
Yeah. I actually, I did get a long way in 8. I think I got to the final boss.
Yeah, well, that was another one where, like, for all its downfalls, the music and the scenery and the visuals really carried it through.
I think with 9 though, the character design 9 is gorgeous, and I think it's very. And
it ages so much.
It says a lot about the art direction in those games. That they're PS1 games, and like you can load up.
Really, PS1?
Yeah, they're PS1 games, and especially because you're playing it on
PSX.
You're playing it on
PC. Yeah.
PC, because if you play on the Vita, it also shrinks it down. And so as soon as you make that small, it looks even nicer because you kind of take the rough edges.
There was some emulator or something. Someone was doing something where they fixed the texture problem on PlayStation 1. You know how textures sort of flick back and forth?
Oh, I think I asked about that once to some of the tech people.
It was really interesting how it happened, because it's basically it's rounding a number.
It's floating point.
Yeah.
Precision.
But yeah, someone fixed it in an emulator or something. I'm pretty sure. So I was just like, and the game looks so much better with it fixed.
Without the textures going bloop.
Yeah. Anyway, so my question, because I haven't gone back to this generation. So it holds up looking fine still. It's got its own style.
This one does, because like 8 I've played, and if I had no nostalgia for 8, it would be just a piece of shit.
But the question is, how does it play now? Because I still just remember that whole generation basically just becoming very grindy.
Oh, well, I haven't gotten up to the grindy part of it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I imagine it will eventually.
Because
Although-
at least this, I mean, 7's story moved pretty briskly for the first, like, I don't know, 6 hours or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I enjoy the early game pacing of 9 because it jumps
Yeah.
between characters.
Okay.
Like you.
What about the early game pacing of 13?
Oh,
See,
that's
13
shit. No, actually, I really prefer like because
Oh no, that's just 13 has awful early game
because
pacing.
I haven't played past the beginning of either game, so this is all I can comment on.
I played
Yeah.
barely past the beginning of both.
But I really enjoyed I think it opens with the heist in 9.
Yeah, of course.
And then you do the heist, and that part's kind of fun.
And you
It's
do
just
the
combat.
well, it's the QuickTime event where you have to sort of like act out the joust.
Oh yeah,
and you impress all the nobles.
I think in 9 it does a good job at really mixing up some of the early mechanics, so it's not just you're going out doing active time battles. Like there's things like you had to go on stage and you needed to actually perform certain things.
So- if you don't mind, I want to take this to something a bit more recent. Have either of you been following any of I Am Setsuna?
No, but that's sort of why I got a hankering for JRPG.
Yeah.
I just couldn't justify it's $40.
I
Right?
actually think you're probably going to be better off just getting
Well, because
getting 9.
yeah.
Yeah.
I Am Setsuna is incredibly based on Chrono Trigger. The way the way movement is, character design, and the battle design is just Chrono Trigger. Like you get multiple party members. You can do like the very first multi-member attack is bloody /X or whatever.
Okay.
X/. It's like it's exactly the fucking same. But sort of what you're saying with 9 there, like all these things are being multiple characters. Oh, you get on stage, do all this. It's like Setsuna is just like, it's awesome. A world that's frozen. And what's great? Really sad people.
Yeah,
And-
because I watched like the trailer for it, and I didn't realize they kind of channel Chrono Trigger in anything because I was just watching the story stuff, and thematically it looks like they're trying to channel sad JRPG, which is for Chrono Trigger. That's if Chrono Trigger was a sad JRPG.
Chrono Trigger has some sadness in it.
but it's not what that game is.
No, there's heaps of fun characters. There's going to all these fun locales. So while I look at it, I go like, okay, it's a traditional RPG that's paying homage to a lot of mechanics of one of my favorite RPGs ever. I don't want to play this.
Well,
Where's the fun?
one of the things you're
It's
doing.
funny that you mentioned the great locations because I think that's one of the strongest points of the good Final Fantasy games. Is you feel like you're really on just a hell of a fucking adventure.
Yeah.
Because at the start of 9, like another bit I remember was that you're playing the little black mage. He's just trying to get a ticket.
Yeah.
To get to the magic show. That's the whole quest. And it's just him trying to get... Because he buys like a fake ticket or something. It's like, you can't get in. You don't have a real ticket. And then he ends up teaming up with a little rat man. And he's just like...
Rat Man basically
just shafts him. Like, it's just got this really fun
the
tone
Black
to it.
Mage. He's just like this brilliant little character that they found along the way.
More fun characters.
And it was the same with, from what I've played of 10 too.
I played
10 or 10-2?
From what I played as 10 as well.
Actually,
that's another one with some great locations.
Yeah.
And it starts big too when
10 is... there's a few Final Fantasy games I've gotten to... I've never finished a Final Fantasy game, but
I
7...
finished 1.
7, 8, and 10, I've gotten to basically the final boss. The game then becomes hard, and I need to go grind, and I go, fuck that, I'm out.
Sure.
That's happened. That's every Final Fantasy game that's happened to me. But 10, actually, the terrible voice acting aside, I actually really enjoyed the characters in it. I did just get used to the bad voice acting, and after all, it just became endearing.
Sometimes bad voice acting can be fun.
But the world was really pretty. Like, had a really kind of vibrant world.
I'm excited for the remaster, actually.
Yeah, the story was good. It had Orin, who is still my man crush. See, I'm so gay for Orin.
I need to get back to Nino
Orin
Kuni.
was the
He was a guy with, he was the kind of tall, kind of broody guy, but he had a good story.
was he voiced by I feel bad for losing his name now. Bender's voice actor.
Joe
John
DiMaggio.
DiMaggio.
I don't know, maybe.
I thought maybe it was.
I remember his voice acting was like not terrible compared to some of the other characters in
Especially when he said, "Hey baby, I know it." No, so I decided not to do the voice, just the words. It's
I think it says a lot about actually how much I did get into that game. That if there's something that like I'm really enjoying, I can take on the vocal traits of certain things. And I started taking on some of Riku's tics. I started finishing sentences with like
Oh no.
an awful lot. It's because I like the character.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can be a bit of a knob,
Yeah.
Okay, shall we push through some stuff? Did you have any thoughts you wanted to share at the moment?
I just figured
it's going good?
that it's good to go back to the game.
Yeah.
It holds up surprisingly well.
I mean, shit, I've got more games on here than I even wrote. Okay, the first game I thought might actually be the only game I'd play this week before I then played fuckloads of games.
All of them.
All the games.
I got a little game that came. So we have a few promoters that send us codes. Some of them are like sort of different. So there's one that sort of sends mainly sort of mobile ports and everything.
Sure.
So whilst I have a look at them, I mean I try to have a look at everything. They don't normally get brought up. But this was just a very basic looking game called Asteroid Minesweeper.
And you do have a history with Minesweeper.
I do.
Minesweeper.
I used to play Minesweeper. I think my expert mode is under 60 seconds at least. But I've played thousands of Minesweeper games.
Wow.
So I was like, I haven't played in a while. But I'm like, okay. So I was hoping this was a mixture of Asteroids and Minesweeper. It's not. It's 3D Minesweeper, and the asteroids are just blocks that are made out of Minesweeper puzzles.
Okay.
So they're in 3D. So you rotate around and everything. Which means...
But that seems like the game mechanic doesn't really change. It's just a visual change?
Well, the game mechanic is the same. There are a few small changes, nothing major. Like, you click on something to reveal it, it says, hey, I'm touching one bomb.
To get my head around it. It's still like the 2D...
It's not
Minesweeper
2D.
plane, but wrapped around a 3D object?
No,
or...
it is a 3D object. It's cubes.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah,
so it is
cubes.
So kind of Minecraft.
So basically, other than the fact that there's a few control things moving around and everything, it means that all the rules I know for Minesweeper no longer apply.
Yeah.
So all those things that I internalized, and now it's just like an automatic, like, click on the middle, click on it's like clear, fuck, done, hit the speed button.
Is now there are too many possibilities?
I am not a master yet. I feel sometimes that is true, but it may be that I've just not internalized enough rules
I'm
yet.
interested to see, because the original Minesweeper, being 2D, you're so limited with what that number can mean.
I think there's a possibility of that because you could take multiple hits in it.
Oh, that might be the solution to...
Yeah.
Which is would be a conceit that...
It might be that. But also it could just be because, hey, some of these levels are quite big and might take you 15 minutes to go through, and if you accidentally hit the wrong button, which you can because the controls are... Basically, it's a very cheap game.
And it's a mobile game?
No, I'm playing on PC.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it has a mobile port. I was just saying that this is sort of what normally comes from these people. Like, I have been able to accidentally click like the block behind a block because I clicked on the seam. So, hey, that block's not even exposed yet. Why can I accidentally click on it? Shit, I blew up a bomb that I wasn't even at that level yet. God damn it. So that's happened a few times. But most of the problems with that are things that I'm just going to email the dev and say, hey, if you just made this the middle mouse button instead of everything on the right mouse button, you wouldn't accidentally explode bombs when Yeah, and you can't tag where a bomb would be.
Oh, but that's a big part, right?
Well, no, because so you can't tag it, you can clear it.
Yeah. Oh, so you can look at it and go, I know that's a bomb.
Yeah, you say that's a bomb, and you click on it and you say, clear that bomb. But if you go, I keep getting the buttons wrong. So sometimes I just blow up. I was like, well, that was well worked out, Paul. But as bombs are cleared, the numbers around them will then count down.
Okay.
Yeah. So if everything's 1 around a bomb, you hit that and they all become 0.
Yeah.
And then you just clear it all, and the level is clearing all the blocks.
Okay.
It's really simple, and it's fun. It just puts a twist on.
Does it have that cascade? Like when you get rid of one, it just clears
No. You have to click everyone, and that's I think...
That seems like a mistake, because in Minesweeper, that always seemed like a really satisfying mechanic.
There's a really satisfying thing. I think there are a few complexities with doing that with the 3D model. I think you could still clear the zeros, but I don't know. It would speed up the game a lot, which I'd like. But I think sometimes the twist is not so much knowing what can touch, but actually visualizing the 3D space properly.
Yeah.
So if you do too much automatically, you might solve...
who knows? Maybe the possibility of, like, the very complaint, like, the problem of there being so much possibility to where the bombs could be could also mean that a lot could be cleared out just like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have a cascade effect. Go through. Yeah.
It's like I know one of the levels it just starts with a giant cube and you've got to mine into it.
Yeah.
But if it was just cleared all the zeros, it'd go funk, and then there'd just be like 3 puzzle blocks.
Yeah.
So That's right. I'm enjoying it so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I thought that was all I was going to play, and then I played lots of stuff.
And what's it called?
Asteroid Minesweeper.
Asteroid Minesweeper.
On Steam. So, okay. New Sonic revealed this week.
Yeah, I didn't get what it was.
Sonic Mania is
Some
a
sort of
new Sonic game.
MMO Sonic game? Or...
You definitely were not looking at Sonic Mania.
No,
Because you might have been having a fever dream, or perhaps you just...
the opiates were kicking in around this time.
So, as sometimes is a problem when people don't know how to continue a classic game, sometimes the solution is, oh, let's just make another one like the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Okay, but just to check on my fever dream status, it was like a dystopian future, and Sonic's just running along, and then a second Sonic shows up.
Okay, so I will give you a little bit of a pass. More than one Sonic game was announced.
Okay.
But we only saw the gameplay of one of them.
The other one.
The other one,
dystopian MMO.
the other one, whilst they call it not Sonic Generations 2, the fact that there are two Sonics of different generations makes everyone say that Sonic Generations 2, which it probably is. But they're
Okay.
saying no. But we don't know anything else about that really. So that's sort of been the modern Sonic. The main Sonic they were showing off was Sonic Mania, which is it looks like original Sonic. I'd say the pixel density is a little bit higher,
Yep.
but it's still pixelated 2D. I'd say it looks like it runs at 60 frames at least, so it's a high frame rate. They are remixing classic levels and building new zones, and the new zones actually look pretty cool. There was a TV station theme or something, so you could jump in like
Just ripping off Gex.
a TV van and get like transported in waves to another TV van and shit. Like it was some cute theming and stuff. And they added one move.
What's the new move?
It is a
Stop.
No, it's a downward
Yep.
boost, which then you come out of into a boost. So you can go down and then go either left or right really quickly.
Okay, so it's like you dive and then roll.
So as far as I'm aware, it doesn't have the stupid homing into enemies jump that was added later and everything. Just like standard moveset, adding that one, and trying to be really... Not so much just making old style levels, but making them more in that style.
I'm still disappointed there is no Sonic Endless Runner. That's not a Temple Run ripoff.
I don't care.
I think it'd be a fantastic Endless Runner.
Why?
Because it's a game about just make him run and you just like tap to jump.
Why would that be any better than any other Endless Runner?
Because it'd be Sonic.
Do you like Sonic that much?
Don't mind it.
How many Sonic games are good?
2.
Which ones?
Sonic 1, Sonic Adventure.
Sonic Adventure? Man, that thing falls apart after level 2. Sonic Spinball is the other answer, thank you very much. Fuck it, that game is great. I will stand by Sonic Spinball to the day I die. Yeah, I think it's like when they did Mega Man 9. It's like, we're doing it the same as the old ones.
Mega Man 9 was fantastic.
It was, and hoping this follows in suit.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, I pay out on Sonic a bit. I say the games were always shit. They weren't always shit. They just weren't always great. And they get held up as great. It's like, they were always had kind of flawed design. The idea of him being super fast wasn't really the original concept. It kept getting built on. It's like, and super fast in a 2D plane isn't always a fun thing to do.
I think Sonic was the first time I saw like an underwater level where you were getting bubbles and things like that. I mean, I know it would have been done earlier
I
than that.
panicked so much in those
But
levels.
it was definitely an early one. So I know. I mean, I didn't play much Nintendo stuff. I know it was done elsewhere, but for me personally, it was the first one I saw. But like I like that it seemed to mix stuff up a lot back in those early mechanics.
It did.
Yeah.
And they had just weird themes, like the casino levels.
Yeah, like a casino thing.
Yeah, like, especially when we got Sonic Spinball. Great game, Sonic Spinball. Right now. Actually, I did buy it. I bought it last week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, they're having some Sega sales. I'm like, getting Sonic Spinball.
Well, I checked my phone, and where I thought I saw the dystopian Sonic Future trailer doesn't exist, so...
Yeah, it still wasn't a dystopian future.
Yeah.
It was just sort of like Green Hill with Sonic running around and some stuff.
Then the new kits. And it's...
Alright, I'm just going to give you the pitch that doesn't exist. So, like, it starts and it's like a crumbled city, sort of Fallout 3, but really high textures. And there's, like, this big overseen ship that's coming through with, like lights and stuff. And it's sort of like Dr. Egg or Robotnik, or what is his name?
Eggman.
Eggman Botnik.
Yeah. So it's him, like, one of his things with, the arms and the egg-shaped dome. And it's sort of going through a city, and the city pans over, and it's all gritty and real. And then there's just Sonic. Just cartoony Sonic.
Just breathing heavy.
I don't know if that does sound like something I've seen.
And then he starts running along.
Maybe you're not mad.
And then a second Sonic starts running next to him.
Maybe you're from the future.
Like, okay.
Okay.
I've come back to warn you of something really important, but kind of forgot it on the way.
I'm just crossing everything I'm
Just
not talking
cross-
about. It's crossing
yeah.
stuff
Crossing
out.
shit off.
Okay.
I played some more Rocket League, went back to Rocket League.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it was fun, except my, I think because I hadn't played for quite a while, my skill rating got reset.
They're not paying any bills.
Yeah, no. Well, no, the
But
problem
were
is...
your skills still valid?
Yeah, because like they got reset, so I was like stuck with. I was playing with people who like had only just gotten the game, and it felt like I was beating on children a little bit.
Sometimes that's the only way to play a game. Okay.
And it was weird that I was surprised how like my muscle memory was still there, and how the community still like hates each other.
Okay.
Yes, we just
We probably need to get close to wrapping up.
Yeah.
So I really did want to spend some time talking about King's Quest.
Oh, okay. Yes, I would like you to tell me.
So
about this.
I had the first episode. I hated the way it started, and then it won me over totally by the end. I thought it was fantastic.
You hated when he was creeping through the dragon's lair.
Yeah, I thought it was awful game design.
It was the moment when it opened
terrible.
up, like after that,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, I'm playing King's Quest. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't like I'm not playing a Telltale game. I'm walking around the environment. I'm talking to stuff.
Yeah,
doing
when it
item
was like
puzzles.
this weird quick time eventy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because it opens Telltale.
Yeah, I just really, really hated the intro. So, episode 2, which I had started, but then I just stopped for some reason. So I decided to go back and restarted it. Episode 2 is where they show a potential of doing some interesting things. So episode 2 is you get kidnapped by goblins, and all the people of the town get kidnapped. And so everything every episode in some way ties back to that cave where the dragon was. This is like the through line.
Yeah.
So you're down in those caves, and you're let out by the goblins to sort of do work every day. And each day you get a sample of food, and you've got sort of the fight of the old couple and the bakers in separate cells, and you have a few other things around as well. And while you're trying to escape, you also have to decide who gets food. And they can die.
Oh wow!
They have health bars. So, as well as just the adventuring around, you have to make the moral choices like who is going to live and going to die.
So you've moved from King's Quest to God's Quest.
It's like Prisoner's Dilemma. So well, that's not what Prisoner's Dilemma is. But...
Is this actually time? Like, do you only have a certain amount of time you can go out?
No, it's you have to get so. You'll get that food once a day.
Yeah.
You end it. Well, you can end a day. Sometimes an event will end a day, and sometimes you just go back to your cell and go to sleep. And each day it will then progress. So it's not timed.
Yeah.
So you can stand there forever and they won't die, but your story's not going to move forward either.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to move forward. And like at one point, there is at least one that has to die. And that's still a choice. Like one of them.
Can you
has
just
to.
feed no one?
I was thinking about doing that playthrough and seeing how it goes. Because I thought it was funny. I was near the end. I was getting really near the end, and I'd actually done very badly. And I was like, how do I... All the solutions to this puzzle, everyone's that would help me with that's dead. What do I do? I go, I'll just go look up the walkthrough. And because there's so many options, because they had to make paths for each one,
of course.
no walkthrough could tell me how to do the one that I'd done, because I'd fucked it up so much.
You done goofed, son.
I'd done goofed, yeah, definitely.
Give me one,
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I'm really excited. But that's what's interesting about it, because that's episode will be interesting to play. It's multiple times, because you can try and save them all, and you can also, there are at least 3 main paths of solving it. And even that, like the first episode sort of had that, but it was really just like, will you have their item, or their item? Either way, they're effectively the same. In this, there's actually different puzzles.
Did your decision flow on to the second episode?
Oh, to the third episode now.
Yeah.
I won't go into the nature of how all that sort of stuff goes on. And also what's good about this series is that it jumps around in time. So in the next episode, I'm actually sort of, I'd say probably like a 25, 30-year-old Graham.
Okay.
I'm really buff.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps complimenting my guns.
Well, I kind of like, because for me, the Graham I like is like the King's Quest V Graham.
And then you basically go to Baba Yaga's house.
Oh, no.
But her house is also the tower from Rapunzel. And there's 2 chicks up there, and you got to work out which one you're going to marry. And I got to say, I want to replay it because I started to decide, like, I'm going to move towards the one that I like. I never chose. It just must have done the... Because I started going for the other one first, and then I swapped. So there just must be a metric where they go, how many decisions towards one there. And then when it ends, it just went with the one that I was leaning towards. I'm like... So would it swap their positions in the final cutscene or something?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I want to see what happens with that. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, that's like a real bottle episode 1 where you're mainly just in this one environment. But yeah, there's all mixing up the mechanics. I gotta say, I generally hate the script though.
Really?
It's just, and King's Quest has always kind of had this problem where everything just has to be such fantasy tropes that you're like,
Well, that's what it is. It's a collection.
yeah,
of
but there's no
tropes.
characters in there. So a couple of them are characters. Like I really like the old couple on the whole, the mystics and everything. But most of the people are just like, you just know what they're going to say as soon as they start speaking. So it's like, okay, let's just skip. If the dialogue can still be a trope, but it can be fun, and a lot of it's lacking a few nice characters. The main characters are good at least.
Yeah.
So we're sort of revealing the main antagonist now, and he's a fun character and things like
Because
that.
the characters in the original would tend to be much more one note. It'd be like, I'm the shoemaker, and there'd be some pre-recorded dialogue, but there wouldn't be much. They're not doing any cinematic conversations between these characters.
I have to say, I think we have. It's
like moved on. For
as much as there's like we cover. God, even when we were watching Back to the Future the other day, I was like, this dialogue would just not pass anything these days. Marty, you need to send your tape to the record company. It's like, the record company? And then like they bring in this car to the dealership and goes, wow, a 4x4. It's like, what?
So Paul, what you're saying is you're totally for a Back to the Future reboot.
Totally.
Pretty realistic.
As long as it still stars Michael J. Fox. He played the guitar on stage the other day.
Yeah, he did.
I'd be behind it if Michael J. Fox played the professor.
Yeah. Just gets shot by terrorists at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we sort of gloss over that bit. I'd also totally forgot that Marty had a family.
Yeah.
It's like...
He killed them with because he altered their personalities.
Yeah, I guess they were...
You forgot
But they
Crispin
were all
Glover
terminal.
existed.
No, I knew he had a father. But his brother and sister I had no recollection of.
Yeah.
It's like, who are these, like...
But they were the ones in the photo that also disappeared.
But I didn't care, remember. It was that I didn't remember having scenes with them.
I think if I...
It was just conceptual, he had, like, general family.
I think if I had changed the past to drastically alter the personality of my family, I'd be a bit upset about it.
What if they were better?
What if you were finally better than them?
Oh, that's what I need to do. I need to go back and undermine their hopes and dreams.
What if my sister really liked Mario Kart?
She doesn't like Mario Kart?
She's not really one for games.
But Mario Kart?
So, James, massive spoiler for you.
Yes. For what? Wait, what Mario Kart?
In your life.
Oh.
King's Quest.
Yeah.
Guess who's in it?
Really? That's... Cedric's there!
It may just be a very small cameo so far, but Cedric is in it.
There. I love Cedric.
I was like...
He's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. We probably need to start moving towards the end of this. Okay,
Watch out, Graham! Does he say, watch out, Graham?
No more
It's a
spoilers.
terrible snake!
He said a terrible snake?
I think so. I don't know. It sounds like a thing Cedric could say.
Okay. So, before we talk about the game that we teased at the beginning,
Yes.
should we talk about anything else? Or should we...
Look, I'm just going to say I'm going to briefly talk about Puzzle and Dragon Z, mainly because I can cross it off. That game, I wanted to be Puzzle Quest, but it's a JRPG with conversation and shit I don't care about. I just wanted to jump in the game that'd be like 5 minutes or so dialogue, and then it's like, go solve puzzles. No, I'm walking around, picking my egg, and then I'm like, oh, I better make an egg because it's Pokemon, so I'm going to pick the one I like. And then it's like, no, just hatch all the eggs. Like, why don't you just hatch them all at once? Why did you just make me choose?
I was listening to last week's episode,
Yes.
and not a single person once said Pokemon correctly.
What did we say?
We always say Pokemons or Pokemon.
We're just trying to be ironic.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to stop that now.
Yeah, I find that sometimes I say things like, I'm just so used to saying it like the ironic way.
Yeah.
I never say it the correct way.
You did say
confusing.
Skellington before.
No, that's a thing.
Skellington is not a thing.
No. I've been trying to track it down because I keep hearing these Americans refer to Skellingtons. And I'm like, just wait, when the fuck did this become synonymous with skeleton?
You can't say it right anymore.
Yeah, so, because as far as I can see, it's just from Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. But sometimes, like, it's in games sometimes. Sometimes animated skeletons are called Skellingtons. And I'm like, where did this start? Where did this come from?
Like a childish thing, like children learning like your knee bone's connected to your thigh bone, or whatever, they accidentally say skeleton.
I don't know. I mean, kids are pretty dumb, but so it could be anything. So yeah, I do know I said it, but I'm still. It's because I'm trying to unravel the mystery
Of skeletons.
Yes.
Language changes. Some people like to say something is addicting.
Well, I'd ask those people to shut up.
Rightfully
Yeah,
so.
but like we also say, "Oh, I feel a little nauseous," when that should not be a thing.
I don't care. Addicting. No one should ever say something's addicting, unless it is in the process of addicting someone.
So
don't use it as an adjective. Don't do
What
it.
was the last thing you referred to as ironic?
Having too
Skeleton?
many spoons.
You know, it used to be if I made reference to a particular song and about irony, that Paul would push me to the ground.
Oh, I was just like, because it's done.
Yeah.
The next person that points out that isn't ironic doesn't have particularly any irony.
Don't do it. Don't seriously.
It's
don't
like,
do it.
you guess what? Everyone on fucking Earth has made that observation at least 100 times. It's finished.
But my point is, I think language just involved that's now what irony is. Like, to most people.
I don't know. Irony is... I mean, and sometimes I'm too harsh of a judge on irony, and someone says, why not? And I don't have a good answer.
Because it makes you feel better than people.
Oh, I mean, as long as I feel superior.
Yeah,
it's
that's the
fine.
important thing. Yeah.
Because, let's face it, at the end of the day, I'm pathetic. So, let's quickly, before we wrap up, talk about Moirai.
But-
So,
Out and About Pale Ale eases the pain of being pathetic.
God bless alcoholism. So, Moirai.
It's easier just to spell it.
Yeah. It's free on Steam. If you haven't played it to this point, you're about to have it spoiled for you. Because
Moirai, right?
this game has one concept, one idea. It's really good.
One thing.
So we're going to talk about it for
Yeah.
like 4 minutes.
And which is about how long it'll take you to play the game.
So start now.
Yeah.
Scoot. Okay. So our first playthroughs.
Controls suck.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So this is like really bad first person, just like old school,
Yeah.
just like left, right, forward, back. Can't strafe.
You can
You
straight.
know, I still circle strafe around every corner.
Did you?
I can't not circle strafe around a corner. What if there's something there to get me?
That makes sense.
Hey, the start I thought was effective
In the shitty town.
in the shitty town because
I started this going like, this is not a game I want to play.
really. Well, I went in because
It reminds me of a generation of games in which
Yeah.
if this came out, we still would have said, geez, this is a bad one.
yes.
But that's fine. Like I'm going, okay, there's something here.
Okay,
I'm going to keep looking at
we
it.
should also say what this is an experimental game.
Yes.
This is not something. This is probably made in a weekend or two. I don't think there was too much that went into it. It's a game with a single trick, and once you've done it, you've done it.
I still did it 3 more
You still did it
times.
3 times, but it's a
I'm
good.
gonna try the second.
But it's a
one.
good trick. So it opens with putting you in a town and someone's missing, and gives you a little bit of room to explore.
Well, you don't even know someone's missing straight away.
Or someone said, "Hey, can you go talk to someone?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, there's like about 4 or 5 places you can go, and you eventually you go to like into the house, and she's not there, but there's a picture. It's like I actually thought the early world building was pretty decent.
Yeah, it was fine. It's simplistic. It's straightforward. It
World
tells you what
building
you need
might
to
be a
know.
bit of a stretch, but village building.
Like village building, like I felt like I learned. Like,
It's a short paragraph building.
Yeah.
I felt like, oh, okay, there's someone missing. There's a little bit of discovery of that. I'm going to go and find out what it is. So that you leave. I then went and poked a lot of sheep.
Did any of them react differently? Or did
No,
like
but
the
they all have sheep sounds.
Yeah.
I was confusing everyone else in the house. I was like, why is there sheep sounds coming out of this game?
Go into the caves.
Go into the cave.
Well,
Did you explore the caves?
I did explore the
With
cave.
the lantern. Yeah, I did too. It was
Now-
quite creepy.
So you have to take the lantern. I think you have to take the lantern.
You have to
before
take the
go.
lantern and
Yep.
you can't go to the caves. There's a farmer in there that says, oh, there's some moons up ahead. Someone's hurt or something. Here, take this
Yeah,
knife.
and you have to take the knife.
So you have to have a knife and you have to have a lantern. Then you just walk around the caves. If you don't go straight to where you're supposed to go, you can go on the sides. You find 2 things, basically. You find a hole in the wall.
With something shiny inside.
Something shiny's in the
Oh,
hole.
I didn't see the
Yeah.
shiny hole.
And you find a book of, like, dead farmers. Which seems to be...
I didn't find that. I found the
Oh.
skeleton of a small child.
Mm.
I did not find a
Oh,
book
really?
of farmers. Yeah.
Ah.
Spoiler alert, but was that then Julia's son? Do we think?
Yeah, Julia's son. So, I assume. So, after you've done a bit of exploring, you go where you want to go, and you are confronted by
A blood-covered farmer holding a knife.
Yeah.
At which point, he says to you, you can read?
Okay. Why do you have blood on your overalls?
It's the latest style. I think everyone will be having blood on their overalls. Soon enough! Just kidding, you're wonderful.
Why do you have a knife?
You have a knife, I have a knife. Sort of cancels itself out, don't you think?
I heard moans. What have you done?
Moans, schmoons, who cares? I think you and I have what it takes to get to the top.
So, now this is what...
That's what I wrote when I
Right.
finished the
So-
game.
So, okay, here's the thing. You go past this point, you can choose whether or not to kill this person when you hit this farmer.
Yeah, so you hit them, you ask them 3 questions, you get, well, one person in the world got that response.
Yeah.
And then you decide whether you will, well, you don't even have to ask them questions, you can also just kill them.
Yeah.
Kill them or let them pass.
Yes. So you move forward, you then get to a woman who is moaning.
Yeah.
Then choose to kill her or not. I chose not to kill her, but you can use to kill her. If you don't, you splatter in blood, go back, and then...
And then you're approached by a farmer that's not covered in blood, and then he asks you the 3 questions, you type your responses, and then the game ends. You put in your email address and name, and then the next day or so, you get an email telling you what happened. Not a single person killed me.
I got killed.
They love me.
Contrast your experience with mine.
Yeah, of course.
When I went down there and I found the farmer, I spoke to him and I was saying to James, I must have the most unimaginative, dullard. I'm barely playing. I think I may have encountered a 4-year-old farmer that got dropped on his head or something.
Yeah.
Because I asked him, why do you have blood on you? And he just said some lady spat on me. And now,
but
That's actually happened.
that's what happens if
That's
you,
what happens
if you
if you
don't
don't kill
stab
her.
her. She spits on you.
so he
yeah.
just told me the truth with that one.
Yeah.
And then when I asked him, why do you have a knife, he said, someone gave it to me.
Mm.
And I said, why? I heard, Maurice, what did you do? And he said, nothing. And I'm like, alright, well, on you go. And I didn't realise that was the twist of the game, that interaction.
Well, that's the...
Oh, well, I didn't realise that until I came back and did it myself.
Oh, see, now when I came back and did it myself, I thought, well, I'll just show I was paying attention. And I gave the same 3 answers I received.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first time I was very descriptive. I was like, oh, well, I sort of see how this is going. I don't want to suffer the same thing. I was very detailed with my answers, and I think I said like a hawk or something stabbed her and everything, and I'm here, I'm going to go get help and all this sort of thing. Like, then that was my last one where I was being a bit silly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I did it 3 times because I wanted to see if you could change the conditions at all. Like if someone could have a non-blood splattered farmer approach them or something like that. Because I mean, it could technically be done.
Yeah.
But then the second I got really into the roleplay of it. I'm like, oh god, down the house. It's like, there are strange things down here.
Yeah.
It's like trying to play up some sort of my own mysticism in there. And that's where I think, that's like...
So do you think because I just played it once, because for me, like, I just want that experience once, and I don't see the value in me doing it again, because for me it was the realization of, this is now me, and I kind of understood
I think
what happened.
testing it, but there's also, isn't there joy in seeing how other people do it, and also making your own story in there?
I think
isn't that sort of fun as well?
I think, like for you, I can see like you did get something out of that.
And it's just waiting for the person.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm waiting for that email, knowing someone
So
played my stupid sentences.
Because for me, like when I went in, mine was very strange because I had someone who didn't try very hard, but it kind of worked in their favor. So, like, I asked, why do you have blood in you? To which their response was, I don't. And I'm like, well, I can see the blood. But it was like very kind of morally symbolic answers because they weren't even really trying. But I did, like, even with that, I didn't pick up that it was another player. I thought that was just, they really held the cards close.
Yeah.
That it was like, this is player.
Yeah,
Because
I did not realise until the end of the game.
Yeah.
You never saw yourself as the player character.
No.
Or at least I didn't see what that.
You had a
player
shitty hand.
character- Yeah. That was such a hilarious.
The hand did not match the art style of the rest of the world. It was Google image search hand
And
lasso tool in Photoshop.
I was surprised. It took like almost 2 days to get a response.
It did take a while.
Which I found weird.
Either they're getting hammered, or there's just not
Because
people
it should
playing
just be 1-to-1. It
Yeah.
should just be one answer, one response. Which
Yeah.
kind of idea, this whole temporary thing. What I would love, I'd love like a back and forth. I'd love it like, oh, so you got through. It's like, so log back on and play the next part of the game. Okay. Okay, like then you sort of know the trick. So yeah. But I think this is an experiment which these temporary interactions, which are like if other people could be NPCs in other people's games, but it just being natural language and not really pointed out. But like let's say Dark Souls.
I want to circle this back to Evolve.
Oh, we'll get back. Yeah. But like Dark Souls has like people can invade you, but you can get invaded by like there's scripted ones that aren't actual invaders in this. You don't always know who is and who isn't. It's just based on it. So anyway, yeah. So
just Evolve. In terms of like if you want to have that asymmetric gameplay, like Evolve went for it's got to be competitive, but I think there is room there, and I've thought about it myself. Like if I could, like I like co-op, I like helping people, like I get enjoyment out of that. If I could jump into someone's game that's playing something like Dark Souls, but I could like take over into like some kind of helpful NPC, or even like jumping into something like someone playing like the Neverwinter Night or the Neverwinter MMO, and I could jump in and I can start getting involved in the storytelling for someone.
Twitch games, that's where this sort of thing is already happening and can go just game because there are games on Twitch that can be influenced by the chat.
Yeah, so like the evolution, Twitch plays Pokemon.
No. Because there are already games. I can't remember any names at the time. But like the chat can basically like summon things into the game or change the parameters. Or
but the chat aren't the player of the game.
The chat aren't the player. There's a single person playing it. And in fact, I think one of them was on a recent Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
Something Tron. And it's like so you play on chat on Twitch, and the game is influenced by who's watching you and what they do.
But I think what really works with Moirai,
Moirai,
is that you've got one person giving a very personal touch.
Yeah,
and that's what I'd like to see some more of. Like I love the idea of multiplayer in games where it's not just about being competitive. It's like I just want other people to influence my world and kind of mix up the experience.
Somewhere between because you get like fiction communities. Because the thing is, you don't necessarily want this. You can't necessarily do something like this out publicly. Because while it works in this little small thing, because people aren't trying to be too trolly because they don't get the trick. It's a full game. You'd just be filled with wankers. Yeah. Because people. Well, let's face it. It can be fun to be a wanker sometimes. We've all been there. But if you could say, hey, let's have a small community, and we're all contributing writing to each other's experience. That could be really fun.
Yes. Yeah.
That could be like, okay, well, you've gone to this person and, maybe you send off letters to get responses or something. And then your game doesn't continue until your friends have, filled in the gaps for you or something.
There was actually in its infancy quite a few, really active role-playing WoW servers that were almost exactly like that. Because the people got so into their characters that they really did become like NPCs. Yeah. They spoke in the same mannerisms. Some
MMOs attract it more than others. Like in Elder Scrolls Online, you get some pretty decent roleplay communities.
Oh, really?
I've walked into a bar in there, and there's just be people sitting in the bar having a chat. In character.
What about that desert game?
Desert game.
Oh,
Tale in the Desert.
Online?
No. It came from it's like a sort of semi MMO. It was just about building, and
I think that was Tale in the Desert.
Tale in the Desert. That's the one. Yes.
Yeah.
That was all full of crazy people.
What I would love to see is an evolution of Sleep is Death. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah,
Did you ever see Sleep is Death?
Sleep is Death was
so
really
I can't remember the name of the guy who made it. He's made a few things, but the idea was to take a traditional point-and-click adventure game, but make it so that half of it is a player, like you play it traditionally. The other half is someone building the scenes between each action. So it swaps between you going in and playing like an adventure game where you enter a command and do something. It would then go to the other person, and that person would then have 60 seconds to construct a scene and respond. Sure. So you go into it, and that person generally need a fair bit of prep because they want to try and guide the story a particular way. But they had interface problems and it was too hard to build a kind of a thing quickly.
Yeah.
But the premise was awesome because it was like the dream game where you can do anything.
The premise
seems kind of what it was.
Sort of sounds like Dungeons and Dragons.
Well,
it
is.
It's
a game master.
Yeah. But it was basically take the DM, but put it in just a two-player experience with one DM, one player idea. And I think if that concept had the right tools thrown at it, so you could really quickly build the scene. I think it could be really interesting. I think you get because the cool thing was at the end of it, it would spit out the images of the actual of what happened,
Mm.
and so you'd
Oh,
have
yeah.
it could be a pretty interesting story, that kind of happened during there.
Sure.
So like I think it was a really good idea. It's just the execution was
Seems
was
like there
not
would have
that
been a
great.
lot of pressure on the person creating the scenes.
Yeah, and so that's why it needs to be as streamlined as possible.
I
But
can't draw naked people that quickly.
No, you need to go in with a lot of pre-constructed naked people assets.
Hmm.
You got that right.
I got a camera. I got a friend.
Let's do this.
Yes. I was talking about Sextras with someone recently.
Sextress.
But what we were talking about was that because Sextras was Tetris, but it was people in the shapes and they'd fall down, and it was like.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But when the lines are cleared, really it should wipe out like parts of their bodies. So it should be like.
Well, it's like body horror.
Yeah. Like, so like blood ends up like filling up, and then like people can drown at the bottom of it. So it's like this
It's just horrific.
horrific.
Don't make Sextress.
no,
sounds-
please don't.
No, this is Sextras too.
Sextras too.
Tetris is coming. Oh god! My legs, they're gone. So good. Okay. We have gone quite long. I don't know if the camera's still recording. Hopefully it is.
Hopefully.
I don't know. I didn't actually look at when we started. I think it was about 6 hours ago. Okay. Next week we will be talking about many things, among them Headlander and probably some other fun stuff. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Play what you want. Now, because we had so much tonight, before we ended, I did just want to do what we used to do and keep forgetting to do. Basically, game of the week or thing of the week.
Thing of the week.
So this is just nominating your highlight of the last week of gaming. I am just going to say Human Fall Flat, I think, is a very special little game.
Battleborn.
I'm gonna say this Sonic game I made up.
No.
Imaginary Sonic, Battleborn
No. Moirai.
Okay.
Moirai.
Okay. We both spelt it differently.
Yeah, you probably spelled it right.
Well, you've got Moirai, and I've got Moirai.
I think I did check it as I was putting it in, but I might have screwed it up.
It's one of the
Who
two.
knows?
Magic. And what was it? Your dystopian Sonic?
Jeez.
Your dystopian Sonic game
Okay.
that doesn't exist.
Hashtag dystopian Sonic. There's the scary cat again. Yeah, that doesn't.
I got it slightly
all fine.
closer.
That's all good. Now let's draw a penis. Thank you for watching. I've been your host, Paul. You can catch us on our website, our Twitter, our Facebook, our everything.
Snapchat now.
Snapchat now.
Snapchat, which
If you're brave enough.
I haven't I haven't advertised it yet. The Snapchat is half bits because you can't start a username with a number, so it couldn't go 8.5 bit. 8.5 bit. It's one character too much, so it was 8.5 by. Which, that's something else.
That's the sister podcast.
Someone had half bit,
you're
so
half
we're
bits.
half bits.
Still good.
So if people add that, I'll start adding stuff on it again.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Yes, subscribe to us on iTunes and all that. Leave us a review if you can. Hopefully we've been being a bit better sound wise. Leave us comments. Send us emails to bitsplease@8.5bit. And have a fucking fabulous time.
It's the best goddamn week, you guys.
Yeah.
Best.
I already said I'm Paul, but I'll say it again. I'm Paul.
I'm James.
I'm Jeremy.
Have a good one, friends.
There's no downwards inflection.
What?
You get to end on the downwards
And
inflection.
I'm Jeremy.
Thank
Is that
you.
what you want?
That's what I wanted.
Jeremy.
And I'm Jeremy.
We're all Jeremy.
I'm not.
So is my wife. Catch you later.
Thanks, everyone.